Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and joining me on a evening, kind of dark, blustery evening, is Jason Cameron, fresh off of the start of a second week of work in the world of landscaping. How's it been going?
Just so awesome. I'm so fortunate. Actually, no, I should say it's nice that I didn't actually have to work very hard for this job. I got it through a friend of mine. He hooked me up nice. The only thing is it's, obviously it's out in the elements. I battle, I fight. The good thing about the job is this. It's not like our actual job, and it's not 12 hours.
Nice. Yeah.
That's the real good thing about it.
Nice.
I'm always kind of surprised, even when the weather's like bad, like which was last week, where I'm like, no, we're done. And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess we are.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it is hard to get used to an 8-hour day now. It's quite the shock after you just spend years doing 12s, and 8 just seems like kind of a bit of a breeze, You're like, really? That's it already? Wow.
Yeah, no, it was, the days in that respect, they go by pretty quick. And that's always good. That's actually a good thing.
I was feeling for you though. It was pretty rainy, pretty windy. It was rough. Were you wet all the way through your underwear? Were you just feeling like you were wrinkled all over because you were just soaked the whole time?
So for week one, like last week, the first couple of days, very wet. But I have like 2 sets of rain gear.
Nice.
So I wanted to go through the first set. That failed. That got tossed in the garbage.
Oh shit! Really?
So then I put on the second set, and then I was like, "Oh, this is the good stuff." Right? I forgot about that. That set worked. That set was fine.
Okay.
That's the set I'm going to roll with. But since I threw the other set out, eventually, at some point in time in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to buy another set, because it's always better to have 2 sets of rain gear instead of 1, because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. You're working in Surrey, Canada's most dangerous city. Hopefully, are you in some nice areas?
Yeah, actually, to be honest with you, all of them have been pretty nice. A lot of the townhouse complexes have been like the elderly, older occupancy and stuff. So the other day, the Friday, where I was working in Langley, I was working in Langley. One of the homeowners there, she gave us chai tea.
Oh, okay.
And it was really good. Like it was excellent. Like I was like, oh, what did she put in this? This is delicious. It was really, really good.
Oh, nice. And
like,
warm you up too. That's great.
Yeah, it was almost as if it was her own special recipe that she'd been developing for 40 years. And then I was the beneficiary of that, and I was quite happy.
Oh, bonus. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. What's the name of the company? Let's promote it.
Millennium Landscaping.
Okay. Millennium, Complete Sports Media's podcast brought to you by Millennium Landscaping.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, no, actually, everybody as a part of that company been very nice, very welcoming. Good people.
Oh, good to hear. Well, I'm glad it's working out. A lot of our colleagues are doing things all over the map. I ran into a few of them the other day. I went and helped Mark Denny with his haunted house.
Oh, right. Yes.
And I saw Natalie there. Joe was there that day. Janice, lots of our co-workers and crew. And man, the haunted house was starting to come along really well. It was opening the next day. I was there on Friday evening, and it was opening on Saturday, and it's going to be open all the way till Halloween. So if you get a chance, if you're up in North Van, go check it out. It's pretty great. They've done a lot of work, a lot of people helping out, and it was fun. It was really neat.
Well, he's actually quite fortunate since he can get all that help since nobody's doing anything.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, so good
Yeah.
on him.
Yeah, there were some kids that came by. We were setting up, Natalie and I were setting up this skeleton horse, and some young kids came by and were just asking us a ton of questions as we were setting it up. And there was blood all over it. And they were like, is that real blood? And we were really close to saying yes. And then we thought maybe they're too young to say that too. It might give them nightmares. And so we said no. And then some other kids came, and they were about 12 years old, and maybe about 5 kids. And Mark took them on a tour through it. It wasn't officially open yet, but showed them a lot of the cool stuff. And these kids were nice kids, and they were pretty impressed. And yeah, it was pretty cool to just see the community, the neighborhood sort of viewpoint of it. A lot of people came by and was checking it out, and yeah, everyone seemed pretty fun. Some of his neighbors had some very decorated yards too, so it's a pretty cool spot up in North Van.
Whereabouts in North Van is it?
It's on a street called Dover Court, up off of Capilano, up there in the near the Capilano area, Capilano Suspension Bridge, and that. So yeah, neat spot, very cool. I'm gonna go one night this week, help out a little bit more. He had some early days where it wasn't going to be like big time scaring, haunting for younger kids and their stuff and people that don't want to be totally freaked out. But then as it gets closer to Halloween, there'll be more actors. I might just help out in a few ways. So yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Nice, man. That's cool. I liked the idea when he was telling me about it before, and that he's been doing it now for the last couple of years. So, and he's in the perfect job to do that.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah. He's got this massive spider. The thing's probably like 6 feet wide, massive. Just it moves, and he got it from a show that they were just going to toss it out. He said, and hey, can I grab that? And I think he's been able to accumulate a lot of things off of shows over the years. And yeah, he didn't do it over the COVID years, but I'm glad he's back at it. And yeah, he's accumulated an incredible amount of stuff.
Yeah, I was on the show where he got that spider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember that. And he's just like, what do you think, Jason? You think I can take this? I go, I would probably ask first, but yeah, I don't think there'd be a problem. Like they're not going to forget. Yeah.
If we hear a ding dong bell ringing at some point through the podcast, it's okay. Lorraine is going to be able to answer it. We are waiting on a prize to be brought to the door here tonight. We were in the liquor store maybe about a month ago. We were just gonna get some alcohol, and we were searching around looking for something to get, and we saw a contest board. It had a what is it called? A little thing that you can take a picture with your phone, a scanner, whatever it's called.
Like a QR code.
QR code, yeah, that's what it's called. QR code. So we did it, entered it in, and boom, she won a $3,000 prize from the Vancouver Canucks. We've got tickets, we've got signed jerseys and concession money, and somebody's bringing it to the door tonight to give us our prize. They said it's worth like $3,000, and shockingly, she won. It was unreal.
Okay, so here's the next question. So if you hear the ding dong or the knock on the door, but then you hear your girlfriend say, "Oh my God, it's Trevor Linden," I guess that might be the end of the podcast, eh?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, or bring him up and sit him down next to me. We can interview him while we're doing it.
Exactly, man.
That'd be awesome if it was him that delivered it. Hey, that would be amazing.
That would be pretty sweet. So how many games then did you win in this package? Do you have any idea, or no, they didn't tell you?
I think it's just one game, I think, but it must be nice, probably club seats, nice seats in the house, or maybe it's a suite or something.
Yeah.
I don't know tons of details, but $3,000, like to me,
That's a lot.
like that's quite a lot of money. So for it to be valued that, I don't know what they value the signed jerseys to be. And I was glad to see the concession money too, because You go to a game and it's, 10, 15, 20 bucks a beer and a wine and shit. So, we've got concession money, which makes it great too.
But it's, you know what? I think it's needed. I think nowadays you need to actually add that as well, because then if it's supposed to be free, then everything should be included. Yeah. Actually, you should probably even have a little thing for like parking as well. But
I hope we do. Yeah. Well, I guess I'll fill in everybody on the details next podcast. And I'm excited. We've been pretty lucky. We've been winning a bunch of things lately. We won that concert over in Ambleside. We won tickets for that. Lorraine keeps winning tickets for the comedy shows, but that's more of a promo thing. And but I've won tickets in different things before, but this is kind of exciting. We were pretty happy to get that. It's expensive to go to a Canucks game these days, and this is nice. I think we get to pick the game or games. I think according to our schedule. So we'll find some game probably before Christmas here. That'll be great.
No, that'd be good, man. That's I'm a tad bit jealous, but that's okay because you guys won and you guys deserve it. So that's cool.
Yeah. It wasn't really a contest, but this weekend it said if you go into the TD Bank app, they were giving away tickets to a concert at the Commodore this week, and I was able to get in, and I got a couple of tickets. So we're going to go see 4 bands on Wednesday. So
nice.
Yeah, so that was pretty amazing. I guess they're doing these concert series all the way across Canada and like lots of major cities. So I was pretty happy. I was just standing in the bank the other day. I went to the bank and the bank machines were down. So I had to stand in the lineup, and they got the TVs behind the tellers there. And all of a sudden they advertised this concert series. And so, I logged in on the weekend and bam, got that going too. So going to lots of concerts. We missed last week's podcast because you were working, and if we couldn't do it at this time of night because I was going to the Alice in Chains and Guns N' Roses concert, and I was amazed. These guys have been playing since the late or mid 80s, and it was one of the best concerts I ever saw. 4 hours of music and absolutely amazing. Played all their hits, both bands, and I was shocked at how incredible it was. Usually BC Place doesn't really have the best sound for concerts, but I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I couldn't believe how great it turned out.
Was the stadium packed out?
Yeah. It turned out to be, it didn't seem like it heading in, but I think a lot of people just went down and got tickets. And I looked around, it was pretty much full.
Nice. That's awesome though, that they actually played all their best hits and they played. You know what I mean? Like they stayed there, they played, they made sure everybody left happy. It doesn't happen all the time anymore.
No kidding. I've been disappointed. And we talked about it on this podcast. You were disappointed with the Kevin Hart performance and all that kind of stuff. And you want to, if you're gonna go and spend a bunch of money and be out of your house, where out of your comforts of your home, spending tons of money and all that time, you better be happy when you leave, and we sure were.
Yeah, because you want to feel that you don't want to feel cheated after spending your hard-earned cash and stuff, and then you're just like, oh wow, that was not great.
That's not. You don't want that at all. I do want to make 2 more mentions. There's a couple games going on right now. I'll give some updates. Monday night football game. Minnesota's up 10-7 on the Niners. There's a game 7 going on in MLB. It's 4-1 right now for Texas over Houston in game 7. So, but I'll give some updates through the podcast about that. I do want to make a mention of Christine Sinclair has announced that she is retiring from Canada's national team officially by the end of the year. Canada has 4 more games here in Canada as her sort of swan song. This is Canada's greatest soccer player to ever live. Definitely, in my opinion, the greatest female soccer player to ever play. She's got more international goals than any man or woman to ever grace the pitch. And she's a local Burnaby girl here that has done immense things for soccer and the national program. And she will be sorely missed. I'm glad that she gets 4 more opportunities to play in front of fans here in Canada so they can show their love and support. And I hope we can get her onto a podcast soon and just thank her for such an amazing career from a Burnaby girl to the world's greatest stage, helping win an Olympic gold medal and many other achievements for the game. It's super impressive. And yeah, it's great that she's being able to go out on her own terms, 40 years old and a super decorated career.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. It's amazing that she's played for so long and that she's had this decorated career. Definitely probably will go into a Hall of Fame wherever that is.
Yeah.
And she'll be sorely missed. But also, too, looking forward to who's the next person that will pick up the mantle.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. She's been able to mentor so many girls, and most of them said that she was their hero growing up. And we see so many young girls playing the game now. So 190 international goals in 327 games. As I said, most ever for man or woman. She will be playing 2 games coming up. One game is this Saturday in Montreal against Brazil, and then Halloween night they have a rematch against Brazil in Halifax, and then there's 2 games in December here in BC. They are 10th ranked in the world right now. They play the 11th ranked Australian Matildas, and the first game is December 1st in Langford, just outside of Victoria. And then December 5th, they have a rematch with Australia here in BC Place, her final game in her career. Canada is all-time 13-4-3 all-time in BC matches. Let's hope that everybody turns out, sells out the place in BC Place in Langford over on the island. I'm super excited that everybody will get a chance to just show their immense love for one of Canada's greatest athletes of all time.
And as they should, people should try their best to go out and see her for the last time, especially if they've never seen her play, and get a chance to see one of the greatest.
Yeah. I do want to mention Live Golf had their final tournament this weekend. This was the team title. I watched a lot on the Saturday as they were getting closer and closer. The team from Bryson DeChambeau ended up taking the championship. They all got a nice bonus of a couple $1 million. And that was on the heels of the singles championship, won $18 million final prize. And a hell of a great year. I just hope they get better TV coverage. It's been very hard to follow this league with not very great coverage for them. But yeah, I'm hoping next year will be even better and we'll get to see them on a major network. And yeah, just keep on going and getting these players paid really well. This coming weekend, huge fight in the world of boxing between Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury over in Saudi Arabia. $80 for the pay-per-view. Are you buying it?
What time is it?
That's a good question. I actually I actually was looking and trying to find it today and couldn't find exactly when the card started, but I would think probably pretty early because of what we just saw this last weekend from Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like it's probably should be around 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah.
I haven't decided yet. I haven't made my decision yet. Because to be honest with you, I might just do it because I want to support Francis, because him succeeding in doing this is a big middle finger to Dana White, who thought that he wasn't worthy enough for him to get this done.
That's true.
So yeah, I appreciate it. I love the fact that he bet on himself, and I love the fact that he got it done. So
me too. incredible. A lot of people doubted him. A lot of people said he made the wrong move, leaving, the worldwide leader in MMA and for the unknown. But yeah, I'm super happy for him because he's always been such a great guy, and all that he's had to overcome. He brought a lot of attention and a lot of people to the UFC because they loved watching him fight, and I'm glad he bet on himself and has won. The money wise aspect of it so far, anyway.
Yeah, me too. I'm super happy for him, and I'm super happy that he also got a lucrative deal with the PFL as well.
So I'm seeing here, main card kicks off, about 11 o'clock our time. No, actually 10 o'clock our time, sorry. 10 o'clock our time, 1 o'clock Eastern time. It'll be in, I guess it's, about 8 o'clock over there, something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah, anyway, I plan to watch it. I hope it's good. I don't have high hopes. Tyson Fury just came out, I think, yesterday and announced that he will knock him out in the first 6 rounds. I kind of feel like that's probably going to happen, but Ngannou's so big, might be tough to knock him out. But I think, a guy that's never professionally boxed against the greatest heavyweight of all time in our era, tall task.
Yeah, it is a tall task. Just kind of like with Conor when he fought Floyd Mayweather, where you fought a guy that's never lost, ever, right? And then you're like, okay, I think I got a check. No, you do not.
Yeah,
No,
that's a good point. Yeah, they both fighting undefeated fighters. So nobody in their sporting world has ever beat them. What are the chances of a guy coming in first boxing fight ever beating them? Like, whatever.
Exactly, right? Like, I know it's not the same as a guy coming off the street, but it kind of is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Imagine if he won. Would that be the biggest upset in history in boxing? Would it surpass Buster Douglas over Mike Tyson?
Oh, it would by far surpass them. Because at least Buster Douglas is a professional boxer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it would be the greatest upset we've ever seen, like ever. Like, I don't know what the betting line is in Vegas, but like I'm sure people would be like they'd lose their minds if he won.
Yeah.
Lose their minds.
Do you think it'll be highly purchased off pay-per-view?
Good question. I don't foresee it being like one of the greatest like buys that you could ever see. No. It's not going to be upper echelon or top or whatever. I hope for their sake, for both of their sake, it's middling. Like it's just like like it wasn't one of the best, but it also wasn't one of the worst. It was right in the middle, and so that's what I think would happen with this.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I hope they get 1 million pay-per-view buys. That would be terrific. That's kind of a standard to know that you're really one of the cards that sort of move the needle. So and that's $80 million they share. I feel like the Saudis are putting up more money than they're going to recoup, but it doesn't seem like they care in golf and other sports. So, no big deal. They just got to pump a few more barrels of oil and, they'll recoup it. So, the Saudis are changing the landscape, and I don't think money is that big of a deterrent if they're, they might lose.
No, they just go into the Scrooge McDuck money bin and be like, all right, we'll just grab some of this never-ending money, throw it at it. Because what they want to do, I think, is just get into the game.
Yeah.
And if it's going to cost them a little bit, like millions upon millions, which is like maybe pennies on the dollar to them, they don't care. No. As long as they get in.
Yeah.
As long as they start playing with everybody else. I think that's all that matters to them.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I've been watching a ton of the baseball over the weekend. Game 7 tonight. Texas Rangers, Houston Astros. Crazy series. The road team has won all 6 games so far, and it looks like it's going to hold true. The Rangers are up 8-2 in the top of the fourth inning tonight in Houston. Houston won this series last year on this date to book their trip to the World Series and win it all eventually. But Texas has somehow figured this out, and they're stomping on them tonight. I am shocked that they are beating them so badly. They just scored 4 runs in the top of the fourth inning to take a 8-2 lead. Home runs from Seager and Garcia, and this was amazing. Houston's been in this series 7 years in a row, defending champs, but so far it looks like Texas might knock them off in Game 7.
Well, good for Texas. Okay, so it's in the fourth inning. Do you think Houston has a shot at coming back?
Yeah.
8-2 is quite a bit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that's true. They do have a shot, but it's starting to get out of, at this moment. I know that Texas is going to use every arm that they got in there, and they're going to, all hands on deck to try to get every out that they can. But yeah, 8-2 is starting to get out of reach.
Yeah, I would say so too. So who's on the other side?
The other side has Arizona Diamondbacks and Philadelphia Phillies. They played Game 6 earlier today, and Arizona was able to force a Game 7 with a 5-1 win there. And it was the Phillies and the Astros both won a year ago today to book themselves into the World Series. And now they're both on the ropes going to a Game 7. Diamondbacks were not supposed to be here. They were not supposed to win this series whatsoever. And it's that little engine that could. I think it can. And they're on the verge of pulling off a huge upset. But yeah, Game 7 goes first pitch 5:07 tomorrow. Can't wait. Should be amazing. Very dramatic Game 7.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one, and I'm sure Diamondback fans are excited.
Yeah. There was almost the entire Eagles team there tonight watching this game in Philly. It was pretty wild to see. I cannot believe how many sports stars are showing up to these games. I saw Devin Booker and KD sitting beside Michael Phelps at the Arizona game on the weekend. That was pretty cool. Phelps threw out the first pitch, and KD and Booker were there hanging out, had beautiful seats and cheering on their Arizona counterparts. At the Rangers game, I saw Luka Doncic, Dirk Nowitzki, and a few others of the Mavs. That was pretty neat. It's just been great to see these crossover stars showing up for their other sports in their town.
Yeah, that's awesome. But quick question though. So I heard Luka, heard Dirk. Where was Kyrie? Kyrie wasn't at the game? Really?
No. He had more important things to do, like usual.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He's an important man.
Seems to be like 7th, 8th, 10th down the list of priorities for Kyrie.
Yes, I know. He's an important man. He does important things.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, good point. I was amazed at seeing all these athletes here. The games have been amazing. The really big stars on both sides. For Houston, Jose Altuve, 5'6", mashing home runs, getting up to the upper echelon of all time. Some of the incredible things that he's doing at his size are just mind-blowing. And then you've got on the Phillies side, you got Kyle Schwarber, huge guy, comes up, bashes the biggest home runs you ever saw. And he's also creeping up the highest ever amount of home runs, extra base hits, and all these incredible things. And it's funny to see the difference between some baseball players, little guys like Altuve, big guys like Schwarber, and they're doing the same things for each of their teams and trying to lead them to the World Series.
Yeah, it is funny when you look at that and you just see the differences in sizes of baseball players. It's like you never know who has the power
Yeah,
or who can generate that kind of power. You know?
I know. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. I mentioned a bunch of stars at these games. There was a ton of stars at the F1 race in Austin, Texas over the weekend. And did you hear all the stars that have invested in the F1 Alpine team that all got together and bought 24% of the team? I think it was $1 billion. They all had to chip in a little bit of millions. Did you hear all the guys that are involved there?
No, I did not.
Okay, you're going to be blown away. You are going to be blown away at the people that are involved. So we got Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Rory McIlroy, Ryan Reynolds, Anthony Joshua, D Mata, and on and on and on, a whole bunch more. But just shocking. I don't know how they were able to get stars from all different sports and all different walks of life, and pulled in and said, yeah, we'll sell about a quarter of the team. Come join in. And a lot of them took in the race, and it was fun. It was really wild to see them all there.
I'm not surprised to hear that Ryan Reynolds is part of that, because it seems that Ryan Reynolds has gotten to a point where it's like, I just have a pot of plenty now. I just kind of dip in and I just give people money and invest. It's awesome.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, that Wrexham thing has worked out super well for him.
Yes, it has.
Him and Rob McElhenney just turned that thing into, something super positive and a money-making machine, and a team that was one of the greatest, longest tenured soccer teams over in England to turn it around and make it popular, and they seem to be bringing in a ton of money now. It's pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, and also too, like, it generates revenue. I don't think it was generating that as much revenue as it is now.
No,
but when you add those two guys to the mix, and the fact that they're passionate about it, and the fact that they made a documentary about it,
yeah,
as they were going about doing it, like they had a great business model.
Very cool, very smart. Yeah, very smart. The F1 race was interesting. Max Verstappen back winning, and Lewis Hamilton ended up finishing in second place. And then a few hours later, the F1 officials inspected his car, said he did something illegal, something about having a skid plate that was too damaged, and disqualified him. They disqualified Leclerc as well, and so they dropped right out of the running. Kind of crazy. I'm not exactly sure what the reason for the penalty is, but yeah, they DQ'd him. The other guys moved up. Lando Norris ended up in second place, and Carlos Sainz ended up getting third. Sergio Perez fourth, but yeah, Lewis seemed like he was upset. Maybe it was payback for him walking across the track we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I could see that being more of the issue, to be honest with you, because it's like, what? So you just want to pile on and just make sure that Red Bull, just make sure that lead is just it's already insurmountable. Yeah. Let's just widen the gap just a little.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, it was strange. Yeah, I watched the race, but yeah, all of a sudden, boom, I hear a while later that he was DQ'd. So the NHL's going great guns. Canucks come out of the gate with that 8-1 victory, blew our minds. And then won against Edmonton 2, second game, lost a couple, were able to win against the defending conference champion Florida Panthers on the weekend. So righting the ship a little bit. Quinn Hughes, the new captain. Oh my God, is this guy ever great right now? He seems to have taken it 2 notches above where he was, and I'm blown away. This is a guy that was touted as maybe one of the next kind of Bobby Orr, incredible defenseman, and he's played great, but this year, I don't know how he's just taken it to such another level. It's incredible to watch this guy, and I think he's going to really, really help this team get a playoff spot for sure.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. Well, like usually when a guy gets the C, the captain, he gets it for a reason. And so obviously the team thought that he was ready for that responsibility, and clearly he is.
Yeah, it seems like it. The greatest player in the world, Connor McDavid, unfortunately suffered an injury over the weekend. The weird thing about the NHL is they either say it's an upper body injury or a lower body injury. So don't know what the injury actually is, but they think he's going to miss maybe 1 to 2 weeks. That actually puts it in jeopardy, him playing the outdoor game at the football stadium in Edmonton. They were supposed to have a Battle of Alberta Saturday night at the football stadium, and that's really disappointing for like 50,000 fans that were planning to come out for the Battle of Alberta, and hopefully he can play. They said there is a chance, but 1 to 2 weeks puts him away from it, so I'm not sure if they'll risk it, but that was the big disappointing news, and hopefully it doesn't linger on anything past that, but I can't tell you how long because I don't know really what it is.
Yeah, that's the great thing about hockey. You just never know. Hopefully, well, fingers crossed, maybe he can make the game, but they're not going to push him. They're not going to do that because he's too valuable to the team.
Yeah. News, a note from the MLS, the Vancouver Whitecaps ended up qualifying for the playoffs. Those happen this coming weekend, Saturday. They played the LAFC on this past Saturday. They tied them 1 apiece, and they will now face LAFC in the playoffs. It's a best of 3. Vancouver's guaranteed 1 home game, and if it ends up getting tied first 2 games, then the 3rd game will be at BC Place as well. So they might face LAFC 4 times in a row in these last part of the season, and let's hope they can advance past that and really get this city behind them.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be awesome if they could do a deep playoff run for this particular season.
Yeah, let's hope. Okay, we can finally turn to some NFL. There's a game going on currently, as I mentioned a little earlier. Right now, Minnesota's up 16-7. Most people had the Niners crushing the Vikings and making this kind of a joke game, but Minnesota's holding their own and playing pretty well. I was watching the early part of the game, and Jordan Addison has got 2 touchdowns already for Minnesota. On the Niner side, Christian McCaffrey came back after missing last week. He had rib and oblique injuries, and he's back in there. He scored a touchdown on a short run earlier. He did have a fumble earlier in the game that led to the drive for Minnesota getting their early touchdown. But this one, I guess it's not a shock when you see, New England beat Buffalo yesterday. We saw a couple upsets last week and the undefeated teams. And, I guess, as they say, any given Sunday or Monday.
Exactly. Any given Sunday or Monday or Thursday for that fact. But with these NFL teams, they have to deal with so many injuries. Yeah. And it's like survival of the fittest when you get near to the end of the season.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It was National Tight Ends Day yesterday. Travis Kelce kind of was leading the way. We'll see George Kittle tonight. He's the guy that kind of, I think, created National Tight Ends Day. So hopefully he gets on the scoreboard, gets another touchdown, and is an important factor. Shannon Sharp, kind of the all-time guy. Maybe Travis Kelce's kind of reaching into that. Shannon Sharp has recorded 6 games with at least 150 yards, and his biggest one was 214 yards 21 years ago today. So, very impressive performance by Shannon Sharp. And Kelce, after his 143 at the half, I thought, man, he's going to definitely get a chance at that record. And he finished with 179. Didn't go to him as much in that second half.
Yeah, that's horrible. Only 179 yards. You bum.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I I'm getting very, very, very frustrated with NFL officials, and I'm starting to get a little bit upset with what I sort of think at times now that maybe they got money riding on it. And there was examples yesterday. Usually when somebody starts with a conspiracy theory about officiating and how they robbed their team and all that, I kind of go into an ADD kind of mode where I'm just attention's just off somewhere else, and I don't really listen to the conspiracy theory. But yesterday, oh man, there was some really egregious examples of some very brutal referee calls that affected the outcome of the game. I'm going to get more into detail of it as we go through, but the Colts and the Browns game, two brutal calls at the end of that one that handed the game to the Browns. And I just don't even believe that they make those two calls, to just rob the Colts of a victory. It was unbelievable, brutal, and it was called on the same guy, same corner of the end zone. I was just like disgusted with it.
Okay, I think it was the second call where he called the guy for pass interference, but it was uncatchable.
No, it went into the stands on the bounce. Yeah. Like it was so far away. There's not even Victor Wembanyama could have got that ball.
Like he would have had to have go gadget arms to pull that. Yeah. Like that was the one where I'm like, oh come on, you can't call that. Yeah. That was the one that really stood out to me. That particular call, because it was uncatchable.
Yeah, no, that was fully uncatchable. The earlier one, I didn't think he deserved it because the receiver ran right into him. He didn't, impede the guy. He was trying to get, he had to try to adjust, and then the guy just ran right into him. Like, where are you supposed to go when you're standing there? It was bad. Anyway, the other one, I'm an Eagles fan, and I'm happy the Eagles won, but that officiating yesterday, there was 10 calls on the other side. The Eagles got 0 penalties in that game, 0. And I found out the official for that game is actually, he lives about 20 minutes outside of Philly. And I thought, yikes, you got to be really not putting officials in that kind of a position, because he goes home, if he calls 10 on the Eagles, he goes home, maybe he has manure piled up in his yard, maybe it's, broken windows, like, he's got to be a little biased towards the team. And to me, it was ridiculous how biased he was one side there in that game. I just thought, holy cow, Miami must have felt just robbed of that game.
Well, hold on a second. Hold on. Every once in a while, a team can actually have a perfect game. Yeah. No penalties whatsoever. So maybe for this one game, perfect.
Yeah, I doubt it, but maybe. And the other one was the Steelers Rams. Steelers were trying to get a first down to run out the clock. Kenny Pickett grabbed the ball and tried to get past the line of scrimmage, was stopped short. They gave him the first down. Steelers were able to kneel down and run out the clock. And nobody, no matter how many angles you see that from, it's obvious he does not get that first down. I don't know how they can go to replay and say, oh yeah, he got the first down. There's no way. He was not even close to getting that first down, and they gave it to him. And that's brutal. I had no dog in the fight there, but the Rams got robbed.
I remember I was watching that game, and I was just like, all right, well, they didn't make that, so now the Rams get the ball back, and it's like, no, he made it, and I was like, how? Yeah. It's like I was dumbfounded. I was like, he didn't make it.
Did not make it.
I know I'm watching it through my TV, but I can clearly see that he didn't make it.
Yeah,
he didn't make it, man.
He did not make it. Yeah. There was a trade today. Eagles made a trade. They picked up Kevin Byard from the Tennessee Titans. Going the other way was Terrell Edmonds and a 5th and 6th round pick. That reunites him with AJ Brown and really bolsters a secondary that's been really decimated with injuries. And this is a Pro Bowl guy that is a difference maker. And if he can come in and stay healthy, it would really, really help this Philadelphia team keep going. This is the 2nd year in a row. They're 6-1 to start the year and really have such an amazing offense. If their defense can be bolstered by this acquisition, really, really smart move.
That's a brilliant move. Brilliant move to certainly to address a situation that they're dealing with right now for their secondary. So that was a great move on Philly's part, and they didn't really give up a lot to get him.
Yeah, no,
great
I love
move.
it. Yeah. Okay, let's just start there. Eagles, Dolphins. Everyone was excited about this game being the Sunday nighter. 2 dynamic teams, both coming in 5-1. And really, it was like, okay, who's going to be able to stop the other? I kind of thought it was going to be like 48-45. And we were going to see, the 2 teams shooting it out. AJ Brown ended up outplaying Tyreek Hill. And as I mentioned, 0 penalties, 70 yards of penalties on Miami side, the difference maker. But AJ Brown and that defense for the Eagles really ended up helping them win this game.
Yeah, man, like especially the defense. They got a lot of pressure on Tua, and apparently Tua doesn't do well under pressure. He doesn't do well. He's one of those quarterbacks that needs to drop back and get the ball out quickly.
Yeah.
And it helps when he has some of the fastest guys in the NFL on his team. But Eagles dealt well with that. Hurts was amazing, 23-31, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 rushed in. The other thing that I was really impressed with Hurts was there was clearly a point in time in that game where he came up lame, where he was running out to the left.
Yeah.
He was injured.
He was hurt.
He got hurt somehow. He pulled up lame. And then the next play, I think he threw for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, guy's a gamer. Guy's a gamer, man. Like you gotta love the fact that that guy is like that. He's built that way. And then for their 3rd and short, that like, okay, dude is hurt, and he still does that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The brotherly shove. And they still put him in harm's way, get him in there. And it seems to just work every time. I don't remember ever seeing it fail. And it's just amazing how he can just, you see him in the pile and he just pushes and pushes and pushes, and he's up 2-3 yards every time. It's not even close. It's like they're getting in there and they're doing it. And, every time it happens, they're like, yeah, but they're planning on outlawing it next year. And it's like, are you kidding me? Why the hell would they do that? That's ridiculous.
I think it's ridiculous because of the fact that it's like, well, figure out how to stop it. That's not our problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
we are doing it so well that now you want to outlaw something that we came up with. And I want to say, I think the key to it being that successful is Travis Kelce's brother, Jason Kelce, who's the center.
Yeah.
That man gets low, he pushes, and you have to understand, like, that's a lot of people on top of that dude who's at the bottom of the pile all the time.
Yeah, no, he's
all the time.
Yeah, he's a super athlete. He doesn't get quite the press that Travis gets, but super athlete. What an absolute warrior in there. It's like a rugby scrum, and he's like, yeah, let's do it. I can get it done. And it's just great to see. Philadelphia is 12-1 the last 2 years in September and October games, and they're just continuing to march on. This is the first time they've been 6-1 in 2 consecutive years since 80-81, back when they won the Super Bowl back there. AJ Brown, as I mentioned, setting records. That was his 5th straight game with 125 plus receiving yards. And that ties a record with Calvin Johnson and a guy named Pat Studdard from way, way back. Just awesome to see him come in. Dallas Goedert had a great game. Darius Big Play Slay. He says that in his introductions. Nice. He got great pick, and they got 4 sacks over Miami. Tua, when he's sacked more than once, his record is 10-11. When he only gets one sack or none, his record is like 18 and what is it? 16-4. So yeah, so if you can get to Tua a couple times a game, 4 times this game, usually you're going to be able to pull out a victory.
Yeah, again, he just doesn't do well if you're getting in his face, you pressure him, or you get him to the turf. He just does not do well.
It was an interesting battle too between 2 former teammates from Alabama. The amazing thing about these guys was Hurts was the starting quarterback. Had a little bit of a wobble, didn't play that well. Tua came in, won the national championship, came back the next year. Tua became the man, and then Tua got hurt in the championship game. Jalen Hurts came in, won the title for them. They're not exactly friends because of that kind of rivalry they had, but it was interesting to see all the footage dug back up and all the talk about how they were as teammates in Alabama before they ended up making the NFL.
It's funny that 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league played on the same team at the same time.
Unreal, yeah.
It's actually kind of unreal. It's unreal.
It is amazing what they can get in Alabama this year after year. So, okay, so Philly goes to Washington, play the early window Sunday. Miami host New England, and that's the early window also. NFC East also, we've got second place Dallas. They have a bye this coming weekend. They host the Rams the following weekend. We'll get into the other NFC East battle, which is division battle between the Giants and the Commanders. 2 teams that are pretty bad right now, not great teams, but this saw the Giants snap a 4-game losing streak with an incredible defensive effort. Daniel Jones was out, so Tyrod Taylor was in, and he did enough to help them. Sam Howell was under siege. This guy was seeing the Giants in his nightmares the last couple of days after just getting pressured, sacked, under duress so many times. They ended up having to punt the ball 10 friggin' times because they just couldn't generate anything. They couldn't get the ball going at all. And it was the Giants ended up getting their second win. 2-5 now on the year. Commanders fall to 3-4.
Yeah. Howell was kind of running for his life. And I don't know. You can't expect him to do much if he can't even set up and look down the field when there's people in his face at all times. So, but Tyrod Taylor, great. 18-29, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns. I thought the man of the hour was Saquon Barkley, who is their go-to guy on offense. And there's a reason why. 21 carries, 77 yards, 3 receptions for 41 yards, and a touchdown. Yeah. The man's money. He's money when he's
yeah, they missed him so badly when he was out, and this team is night and day when he's in or out. Darren Waller had one of his best games as a Giant, great acquisition. His wife just won the WNBA title with Vegas, so pretty athletic family there. She was very disappointed that he left the Raiders and had to go to the Giants because they're not close in the same city, but incredible to have Saquon back. Another phenomenal performance by him. I'm really liking this Jalen Hyatt kid. Just highlight real catches, throwing the ball up to him, and he's coming down with it. 2 catches for 75 yards. I think he's going to be huge for them. I can't believe how many guys stood out on defense. Bobby Akereke, 7 tackles, 4 assists. Deontay Burks, 5 tackles, 2 assists, and a pick. Dexter Lawrence had a couple sacks, a couple tackles, and just an amazing performance. On the other side, Sam Howell, second most sacks ever after 7 games. David Carr with Houston has those dubious, brutal records. 2 years in a row, he just kept getting sacked 5-6 times a game. But David Carr still holds the record. Sam Howell's just sliding into second place, a record that he does not want to be anywhere part of, but he's getting just decimated. That offensive line is leaky as hell, and I don't think Sam Howell's going to last the season if they don't figure out a way to better protect him.
Yeah, they need to get him an offensive line that knows how to block, all right? Because we've seen what happens if you let your quarterback be under siege for, a couple seasons. Yeah. Andrew Luck. Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm not around anymore because you destroyed my body.
Gone. Gone. Right. Yeah. Commanders host the Eagles next Sunday in the early window, as I mentioned. Tough task for them. Giants have an all New York battle with the Jets, and that's early window as well. That's always fun to see the fans coming in and supporting their New York teams. Okay, let's go to the a little bit more of the Monday nighter. Top of the NFC West, the Niners and the Vikings still 16-7 as far as I see. We're about halfway through the third quarter, so nothing much to update. As I mentioned, great to see Christian McCaffrey back, and yeah, we'll see. I like the Vikings, but without Justin Jefferson, I just did not see them being able to compete with this game. But so far, they're head by 9 and holding them off somehow.
Yeah, okay. Quick question: is Deebo Samuel playing, or is he still out with an injury?
No, he's out. He's actually out. They found a fracture in his shoulder, and he will be out for a few weeks. They're also missing Trent Williams with an ankle injury, but Deebo is going to be out for at least a few weeks, they think.
That's too bad. That's too bad. That sucks for the 49ers and the 49ers fans. But hey, they still have time, and Purdy will have to do some Purdy magic, because this is like kind of one of those rare times, first times for Brock Purdy, where he hasn't had his full Avengers set of weapons. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he's going to have to figure some things out now.
19-7. They just kicked the field goal, so they're up by 12. Purdy's having a decent game, 12 of 15, 130 yards. Christian McCaffrey, not a lot of yardage, 12 carries, 32 yards. Ayuk is their top receiver right now, 5 catches, 67 yards. On the other side, Alexander Mattison has 7 carries for 35 yards, and Jordan Addison is the guy. He's got 6 catches, 110 yards, and a couple TDs already, so really good for him. 49ers host the Bengals this coming Sunday, 1:25 Pacific time, and the Vikings go to Green Bay to face the Packers in that early window. Sticking in the NFC West, we saw the Seattle Seahawks get their 4th win, 4-2 now, 2010 victory over Arizona, who fall to 1-6. Ugly game for Seattle. They should have won this quite easily and handily, but had to grind out a win. DK Metcalf, a huge loss, not having him in there. He has both rib and hip injuries, and they also had 3 turnovers for the game for the Hawks, but a couple of young guys stepped up in DK's absence. Jackson Smith in Njigba. Okay, that's sorry. I apologize, but yeah, and also Jake Bobo. Both guys got their first career touchdowns. Looked good doing so to try to fill in for the injured DK, and Seattle got their win.
That touchdown by Jake Bobo was super impressive. Yeah. That was awesome. Awesome. I love the fact where the announcer was just like, "Oh, it's too bad he didn't get his feet in." I'm like, you might want to go back to the tape on that one. And then you're like,
yeah, oh! that toe tap. See, that second toe tap was just amazing. Yeah, super impressive.
I was super impressed, and well, you know what? He keeps making catches like that. That guy might get a little bit more playing time. You know what I mean?
I like this kid. I think they were very high on him. I think he kind of came out of nowhere. He's got the size, speed, and yeah, I think he's kind of fits the Pete Carroll mode, and yeah, I think he's going to bring a lot for that team.
Yeah, I think so. I think they found themselves a diamond in the rough. And also, too, Walker had a great game with 26 carries and 105 yards.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he's a beast. I really like him. He's a great runner. They've done well. They've been decimated with injuries at the running back position last few seasons, but Walker, if he can stay healthy, man, he's great.
Oh, he's fantastic, and hopefully he can stay healthy for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Seattle hosts Cleveland. 1:05 kickoff time locally here Sunday, and the Cards host the Ravens. That's 1:25 Pacific time for their kickoff time. Sticking in the NFC West, that Steelers-Rams game that I mentioned earlier. Steelers were able to get their 4th win of the year, 4-2 now. Rams fall to 3-4, 24-17 victory for the Steelers. Najee Harris got the TD run. Jalen Warren, really like him, and he got a nice 13-yard TD run. Pickett was good. Pickens was great. Deontay Johnson's back, got another 5 catches. But I don't know, man. This should have went down to the wire. Rams should have got the ball back, and we probably would have saw them score a touchdown. We would have had OT. I think Rams have every reason to say they got absolutely robbed, and hold an investigation to what the hell. Maybe not the referee actually put the bet on, but maybe his wife, or maybe his kid, or maybe his best buddy. But like, come on, how could you say that was a first down? It was not a first down.
No, it wasn't a first down, man. Like, it was just, I don't know how much clearer it needs to be. Like, I don't know how the ball went from where it was to where it ended up being. Like, I don't know how that's a thing. And also, too, we were robbed of the fact of giving Nakua a chance.
Yeah.
Because that guy had a great game. Yeah. 8 receptions for 154 yards. I have no idea how the Rams managed to find this diamond in the rough who's a perfect foil to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Like, the guy, he's perfect.
Oh man, he made another couple catches on the weekend that were just phenomenal, man. The guy is so talented, and wow, they got Cooper Kupp, and then they got him. Kupp got totally shut down, but Nakua just took the reins and was very, very huge again.
Yeah, no, and also too, Kupp should be seeing the double teams and stuff like that. Yeah. Because he is that good. And then Nakua will be like, great, he should be licking his lips, because it's like, oh man, I'm gonna eat tonight. And he sure did. He sure did.
I do want to mention Michael Hochtel. He's a Canadian out of Oakville. Helped win the Super Bowl for the Rams in 2020. He was able to get a couple sacks on the weekend. 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 2 quarterback hits. This 6'3", 310 guy out of Oakville playing phenomenal, and one of the last holdovers from that Super Bowl winning team in 2020, and he's finally getting a really good shot at outside linebacker. He was all over the field that day and really stood out to me as one of their top defensive guys.
Yeah, no, he was fantastic. And also, too, I had no idea he was that big. He's 6'3", 310 at outside linebacker?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big boy. That's a big man.
I know, yeah. It's impressive. Yeah, he's awesome to watch. I like this Rams team. They've been able to come together. I thought they got robbed in this one. Yeah, so many guys had great games, but yeah, Pittsburgh gets the win. Rams go to Dallas now. They play on that early window Sunday, and Pittsburgh hosts Jacksonville, same early window Sunday. NFC North now. Let's turn to there. We saw an absolute beatdown in the Baltimore-Detroit game. I watched majority of this game. Baltimore would get the ball, just march down, score a touchdown. Detroit would get the ball, 3-0. Baltimore gets it, marches down, touchdown. Detroit 3-0. It was just unbelievable, just churning it up. Do you realize in the NFL currently, out of 1,500 players active, there are only 3 players that were an NFL MVP? One of them is the QB of the Baltimore Ravens, who's really starting to show again that he's an MVP candidate with a performance like this. Can you believe there's only 3 guys active in the NFL that are MVPs, former MVPs? How weird is that?
That is kind of odd. Like, I guess everybody else retired?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You got Patrick Mahomes.
Holmes.
And you got Lamar Jackson. So that's weird. That's bizarre. But Lamar is one of the 3 guys that can say that he's an MVP guy. And with performances like this, he's back in the mix for another MVP season.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He should be, and he is. And the Lions are good, and they got handled.
Just got
they got actually they got crushed. They got massacred. Jackson went 21 for 27. He missed 6 throws. That's it. 6 throws.
Yeah.
357 yards, 3 touchdowns. Andrews, one of his favorite targets, obviously, because he loves that dude. 4 receptions, 63 yards, 2 touchdowns. It was disappointing. I thought the Lions would put up more of a fight.
I thought this would be a great game. Yeah, it was on our local cable, early, and I thought, oh, this is going to be a great game. I recorded it. I watched the majority of it, but oh man, it was a beat down. Like, this was not even close. I saw tears coming out of Dan Campbell's eyes early on.
Yes. And we haven't seen him cry for a while, right? And I'm like, oh man, don't do that to him. He's tried so hard. Come on, guys. Play a little bit, coach,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some sad news from the game. Mohamed Ibrahim dislocated his hip so severely that he had to go in for an immediate surgery after the game. And he will be staying in Baltimore for the foreseeable future. He's hospitalized, and it was pretty massively severe dislocated hip that required surgery, and will be a big loss for them. And it's tough when you jump on a plane and you don't bring your entire team with you.
Oh yeah, no, that's horrible. And that's horrible that the injury was that bad that he had to have immediate surgery. That's like almost like Bo Jackson-esque with that kind of injury,
Yeah, it was bad news, scary, and it's football's no joke. Sure, can be violent. Quite the shock. Detroit having a phenomenal year, coming in 5-1 and really playing well on defense and offense, but just this was not even close. Lamar Jackson has a 16-1 record against the NFC. That's pretty shocking to me. And so I guess Baltimore's sure hoping that he can make a Super Bowl and be able to beat all comers, because that's a hell of a record. That's pretty shocking when I actually saw that.
No, that is a super shocking record. That's amazing and ridiculous at the same time.
Yeah. Detroit hosts Vegas. That's the Monday nighter 1 week from tonight, and Baltimore goes to Arizona. That's 1:25 kickoff here Pacific next Sunday. Sticking in the NFC North, we've got Green Bay losing a squeaker to Denver. Will Lutz was the hero, 4 field goals. The last one was 52-yarder with just a little under 4 minutes to go. Jordan Love was picked off late, and Denver was able to pull out the victory. 2-5 now on the year. Green Bay falls to 2-4. Not a lot to mention about this game, though.
It was amazing. Russell Wilson won a game. I was just like, I'm amazed. I'm like, wow, Russ, you did it. You got it done. You didn't see, you barely scored any touchdowns, but hey, man, way to go. 194 yards, 1 touchdown, set the world on fire.
Set the world on fire. Yeah, geez. Now, this was one of those boring ones. I looked at the highlights and almost fell asleep, so we don't have to talk too much about it. The only thing I want to mention is Kareem Jackson got ejected for the 2nd time this year with an illegal headshot. He was given a 4-game suspension today, and hopefully this stops this. This is, I think, the 5th time this year that he's got flagged for a head-to-head shot, 2 times ejected. This guy's dirty. Should not be playing the game. I'm glad 4-game suspension at least, and hopefully this will smarten him up, and that will get out of his game, because this is really impacting guys severely, concussions, and needs to be taken out of the game. This guy is just a repeat offender that's finally got whacked, and hopefully it will change the way he plays.
Hopefully it does, because it's just that's your stern warning, because if he does it again, man, the amount of games he's going to miss next time is going to be quite severe.
Really brutal, yeah, brutal. Okay, Green Bay hosts Mini Sunday early, and Denver hosts KC Sunday the later 1:25 kickoff here. Okay, the NFC North, also Chicago ends up getting their second victory over Vegas, 30-12. This was a matchup of backup QBs and guys that really nobody knew before this year, and all of a sudden, boom, they're in the mix. Tyson Special Agent Bagent got the big win. This guy came from a Division II school that almost nobody even ever heard of before. Just brought in and gets a victory in his first and only ever start. Played decent enough. Was able to get Deontay Foreman the ball enough where he got a hat trick of touchdowns, and they get the victory there. Pretty good story, though, this Tyson Bagent guy from very obscure school in West Virginia that nobody's ever heard of, gets brought in and ends up getting a win in his first game.
Yeah, I remember, like, as I'm watching the highlights from this particular game, I was just like, Bagent? Who's that? No idea who that was. No. But and then they said a little bit about his background. I'm like, I still don't know who you are. But great win by Bagent. And yes, he did the right thing by giving Foreman the ball. 16 carries, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, and then 3 more receptions, 31 yards, and another touchdown through the air. Bagent did good. He said, I think I'm going to roll with you because you seem to keep scoring and stuff.
The smart move on his part, definitely a very smart move. Jalen Johnson had 2 interceptions, 1 return for a 39-yard touchdown, pick 6. They picked off the Raiders quarterbacks 3 times on the day. Hoyer had a pretty bad game, 17-32, 129 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. So they brought in Aiden O'Connell. He fared a bit better, but did throw a pick himself. Jacoby Myers got the TD. Devontae had a decent game, but Raiders shouldn't lose to this team, but they did. Tyson Bagent is actually the first player since 1950 to go undrafted and start an NFL game after playing in Division II the previous season. So we talk about Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. This guy's even more irrelevant than Brock Purdy is. And it just shows if you have a good game plan and use a proper system, anybody can go in there. Me and you could come in and win a game for a team if they've got a proper game plan.
I don't know if we want to go that far, but yes, if you have a proper game plan, you can win these games, and they had a proper game plan for Bagent to follow.
I saw Bagent in the locker room after, and he's dancing around, and he's got the game ball, and he's chanting and getting everybody into it and stuff. And I thought, okay, the guy's in pretty decent shape. And then they showed his dad, and his dad is a 28-time arm wrestling world champion. And the guy's got some biceps on him that are, maybe as big as my head. And he really helped this kid along, get physical and be strong. But they showed him on the sideline, and he was just taking on reporters, and he was just slamming him down over and over and just laughing about it. It was pretty hilarious. His dad seems quite the character.
No, that's awesome. That's great. And I'm glad that he went easy on the reporters, because I'm sure if he really wanted to, he could actually really hurt those guys.
Yeah, he sure could have. Yeah, he sure could have. So the Bears take on the LA Chargers, and that's the Sunday nighter to this coming weekend. And Vegas goes to Detroit, and that's later on Sunday. So okay, NFC South. We've got the titanic battle between the Atlanta Falcons and the Tampa Bay Bucks, and in Baker we don't trust. Atlanta ends up pulling out a 16-13 win. Young Wei Koo is the hero again. We talked about him a couple weeks ago, hitting a game-winning field goal. He hit another game winner this week. This one was a 51-yard buzzer beater that got the got them to win. It was his third of the game, and they pulled out a victory. Desmond Ridder played pretty damn decent. Tyler Algier had another phenomenal game. Kyle Pitts, big catches. And Atlanta won the turnover battle. They got a pick and a fumble, and were able to beat Baker and the Bucks 16-13, getting their fourth win of the year.
Yeah, no, it was impressive by my Falcons. They got it done. Ridder, 19-25, 250 yards, 6 carries, and also another additional 6 carries for 38 yards with the touchdown.
Yeah.
But I want to say, but Kyle Pitts, that one catch he made, wow. I had to slow it down, because I'm like, what is he, David Blaine? What the heck just happened there?
How did he get it? Yeah.
How did he even catch that?
That was one of the best catches I've ever seen.
Yeah, like it was way behind. Yeah. And he just threw out a paw there and just said, it's almost like, all right, God, I'm trust you on this one.
I know.
And he managed to catch that ball. I had to look at that several times, because I couldn't believe that he caught that ball.
It was unreal. Yeah. Baker had a pretty decent game, but not enough. Evans had the touchdown. Godwin chipped in. Rashad White was the big contributor there, but no, Tampa Bay gets the loss. 3-3 now on the year. They go to Buffalo, and that's the Thursday nighter this week. Should be an interesting game, I think, between those two teams. Atlanta goes to Tennessee. They play in the early window Sunday. Sticking with the NFC South, we got the New Orleans Saints losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was the Thursday nighter last week. That's so long ago that we don't want to get too into it, but I was so frustrated watching this game. I can't believe how often the Saints had a chance to pull this victory out and just really shot themselves in the foot beyond belief. Foster Moreau had a touchdown in his hands and dropped it. They blew it on 4th down and a pass to Olave that would have tied this game, but Jacksonville gets the win. 5-2 now on the year. Really starting to hum along now. Saints fall to 3-4. And anything that you really want to mention about this one?
The only thing is, it's unfortunate the Saints lost, because Kamara had a fantastic game. 17 carries, 62 yards, along with 12 receptions for 91 yards.
Yeah, amazing.
That was huge.
Yeah, he's to me in that Christian McCaffrey kind of mode, and a guy that just, you want to get him the ball as much as you can. And 12 catches for a running back is just, it's crazy and amazing. And to get 91 yards out of the backfield catching the ball, that's just phenomenal game.
Absolutely phenomenal game. Absolutely. And I felt so bad for Foster Moreau, because it's like, hey, remember this, Foster. You beat cancer. It's not all bad.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not all bad.
Yeah, he would have been the hero again. And, we just talked about him a couple of weeks ago, getting that touchdown after coming back from cancer. And I felt sick about it, but it was in his hands. He should have had it. I'm sure he thinks the same way. So Saints go to Indy, face the Colts of the early window, and the Jags go to the Steelers. Okay, now we're finally in the AFC. Buffalo, New England. What the hell happened? I know that the league wants to get the hoodie his 300th win, but like, come on, like, how did Buffalo lose this game? What the heck happened? I know Josh Allen threw a pick the very first pass of the game, but he didn't throw any more. And how does New England win this one?
That's a great question. I keep asking myself that too, and I'm just like, I guess it was Mac Jones' day. It was his day. Like Mac Jones was the one that got Gesicki that ball at the
12,
end for
12
that last
seconds
drive.
left. Yeah, 12
Yeah,
seconds left to pull out the win.
pull out the win. It's just like, oh, and then now Mac Jones can say to Bill Belichick, "You see that? I can get it done too,
Yeah.
right, Bill? I can get it done."
yeah. Maybe he turns the corner here. Maybe that gives him the confidence from the coaching staff as well as himself. And he, to outduel Josh Allen in a tough divisional game, I was really quite shocked. And we see the hoodie. He gets his 300th victory, as I said. Don Shula is first with 328 wins. George Halas second, 318. Bill's in third with 300. Andy Reid is in fourth, 253. Will really start getting there in the next few years because he's got such an amazing team. And Tom Landry is in fifth place, 250 wins. The other three guys that aren't active are all Hall of Famers. These two guys will join them in the Hall of Fame eventually. It was interesting also, Bill, there came out that he signed a contract extension in the off season for at least a couple more years, and nobody had heard about that until somehow it got leaked over the weekend, and so he will not be fired this year for sure.
Yeah, and you know the great thing about Bill Belichick hoodie is you'd think he'd smile when winning 300th. No, I'm not going to give you that. No. I'm not going to give you that. No. That's why I love that guy. Doesn't smile. Doesn't just stone faced at all times. It's really good.
Yeah, he's quite the piece of work. Yeah, he sure never looks like he's happy about anything. So this is the first time that New England scored more than 20 points all season. So he should celebrate. We'll see. New England goes to Miami, plays Sunday, another divisional battle for them, and the Bills host the Bucs Thursday, as I mentioned. Jets have a bye next week at the Giants. That's the only team we didn't cover in the AFC East. AFC West now. This was a game that I had circled on the calendar and was super excited about. I figured I would get disappointed and lose to the Chiefs. The Chargers just wouldn't pull it out, but I was really bummed out. I thought after that first half, it was such a shootout, and then get shut out in that second half and let the Chiefs end up getting the 31-17 victory. Chargers fall to 2-4, Chiefs up to 6-1. Travis Kelce has to just love Taylor Swift in the audience because he just becomes a Hall of Fame kind of guy. You just throw him the ball and he's bringing it down. I think it was something crazy like 29. It was 29 straight completions, was it? 29 straight to the guy. Unreal. He's money in the bank. You throw the ball up for him, he's bringing it down, and those two together, Mahomes and Kelce, what a match made in heaven, and it's just amazing to watch.
It is amazing to watch. Like it's absolutely amazing because as long as you have those two along with Andy Reid, they're just gonna win games. Like even if it's close, you're still gonna figure out a way to win. Like Mahomes is just that brilliant. 32 of 42, 424 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yes, there was a pick, but who cares? So, yeah, they're that good. Yeah. And then Kelce with 12 receptions, 179 yards, and 1 touchdown. I think since Kelce and Taylor Swift have been somewhat seeing each other, they haven't lost.
No.
I mean, I guess that was the right thing for him to do. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. I didn't know that Taylor Swift would be their lucky charm, but so far she is.
She has been, yeah. It's amazing how it's just turned him into just an incredible weapon, and it shows like the games that she was at, how many yards he's got. The games that she wasn't, every time she's there, he's getting over 100 yards and tons of catches, and this team's just a juggernaut. McCole Hardman, a great pickup for the Chiefs earlier in the week. They got him back from the Jets. They traded him off in the offseason. Were able to get him back and didn't have to give up a ton. They didn't give him much chance in New York for some reason. He ended up playing 28 plays in 6 weeks, only made 1 catch. He made a catch yesterday and an amazing punt return that really set him up for an easy touchdown. And I don't know what the hell's wrong with the Jets, why they wouldn't even give this guy a shot. He's so fast, and they were so happy to get him back.
Yeah, that's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But then again, maybe that's why they're the Jets and they're the Chiefs.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Great point. Exactly. I couldn't have said it better. We covered in the AFC West the Raiders and the Broncos already. KC goes to Denver this Sunday, 1:25 window Pacific, and the Chargers host the Bears. That's a Sunday nighter, as I mentioned a bit earlier. AFC North, we just got to cover the Cleveland Indy game, 39-38 shootout. Deshaun Watson was knocked out in this game. He was coming back from an injury, then got hurt, was taken out for a concussion. They cleared him, but he still had some lingering injury. I think it was his shoulder. And so PJ Walker had to come in, engineer this victory. This was a fun game, but I was really mad at how the referees handled this in the end, because I really think that Colts should have won this game if they called it properly.
Yeah, Colts should have won this game. Like just period. Like the Colts should have won this game. Like especially with the one play I was saying, which the uncatchable ball, and it's like pass interference. You're just like, on what? On that ball that went up into the stands?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Brutal.
Right on.
Yeah. So
brutal. It's brutal.
I do want to mention Myles Garrett. Wow, what a performance. This guy is just unbelievable when he's that good. He had a couple of sacks. He had a blocked field goal. He was just in the game so much. He also has the most sacks before the age of 28, 82, past some big-time Hall of Famers. Reggie White had 80, Derek Thomas had 77, Bruce Smith 76.5, and J.J. Watt 76. So he's not even 28 years old, 82 sacks already, and he's just getting into that upper echelon where, you know, you can say Hall of Famer probably already.
Yeah, he's the anchor of an excellent Browns defense.
Yeah,
and excellent Browns defense. So, yeah, hats off to Myles Garrett, because he was one of the reasons why the Browns won that game, along with the refs. But yes, good win by the Browns, I guess.
Yeah. Hunt got a couple touchdowns. Jerome Ford got a lot. When the Browns use their run game too, that's really hard to beat, and really usually rolls up victories for them. So Cleveland goes to Seattle. They're playing the 1:05 kickoff time Pacific. Indy hosts the Saints, and that's the early window. We've covered the entire AFC South already. The Jags are first at 5-2. Houston sits second at 3-3. Colts, we just covered, their 3-4, and the Titans sit last 2-4. They had a bye this week, and they play the Falcons next. So that's the NFL story for now. Let's get right into the UFC. We had UFC 294 from Abu Dhabi. I was super excited, looking forward so much to this card. One title fight, one title eliminator fight. Really started getting quite excited about it. Now when I'm thinking back on it and want to break it down, all I can say is I'm very frustrated, very pissed off. Some way too many illegal fouls, some really boneheaded mistakes by the doctor, referees, way too many Russians winning. Like, what the hell? There was too many Russians on the card, first of all, and for 7 of them to get victories. It ruined my Saturday, where I was thinking I was going to have one of the greatest Saturdays ever, getting to wake up 7 a.m. and see fighting. And there was just so many things that got me mad about this card. And yeah, I'm angry at the end of it all. But I guess where we normally start is the main event. Islam Makhachev solidified himself as probably the best pound for pound fighter on the planet, dispatched Alexander Volkanovski after sort of a controversial fight back in February between the two. He left no doubters now with a head kick knockdown, grounded pound knockout, and got the victory in the first round, and really just showed how amazing of a fighter he is.
I will say this. Alexander Volkanovski should not have taken this fight on short notice.
No, true.
You should never take a fight with a man of this caliber on short notice.
No.
You need a full fight camp.
Yeah.
I thought it was a mistake when he took the fight. I don't know what his compensation was from the UFC for literally saving the card, because he did.
Yeah.
So hopefully he was compensated well. We'll never know about that, but I hope he was.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I knew he should not have taken this fight. Like you don't short notice a guy like this.
No.
You have to have a full fight camp, and that's why he lost. That's why I believe he lost.
I think he would have had a much better showing. I don't necessarily know if he wins or not, but I think he would have really had much better showing. The thing that really rings true, in my opinion, is when a guy is as short as him and coming up in weight, it's quite the disadvantage. And I don't think that head kick actually lands if he's the same height as Islam. And he, being that short, he's at that disadvantage where Islam can land a kick. I think if he's 3-4 inches taller, he blocks it, and it's it's not something that takes him out. But yeah, the short notice thing I thought was bad, and really is tough on both the main and co-main event. And it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see them at their peak, at their best ability, and we got to see a true excellent rematch that would have really showcased how great both of them are.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt watching the main event, I felt cheated.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, and yes, he did get caught. Yeah, you saw Makhachev setting it up for that left high kick, and it was just barely over Volkanovski's guard, but clearly enough to rattle his brain, and then he lost. Yeah. So good win by Makhachev. Obviously, this competition between the two of them has been put to bed.
Done.
It's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
It's done.
Who do you think he fights next? Is it Oliveira or is it Gaethje?
I'd rather see him fight Gaethje.
Yeah. To
be honest with you, I've seen Oliveira already. I'd rather see Makhachev fight Gaethje.
And I hope they give. I hope they're able to give Volkanovski enough time off now before he has to defend his belt.
Yeah, no, they should not be rushing him back, because he did them a favor, not the other way around. So yeah.
Okay, co-main. This was another short notice fight. Khamzat Chimaev fighting Kamaru Usman. First round, definitely going to Chimaev. Quite dominating round. I wrote down on my paper at the time 10-8, and then I thought, do I put a question mark beside it? Would I really score at 10-8? There wasn't like massive damage, but I wrote it down at 10-8, and I thought, and I don't know, as a judge, how much time I've got to think, do I get a little bit more? But I wrote a 10-8, and then that ended up being what most of the judges had put on. Kamaru ended up coming on and having great rounds later on as it went. I wish this was a 5-round fight, and it would have been really the true measure and test of it all. What about yourself?
Actually, Kamaru even mentioned that he was offered the 5-round fight and he turned it down. Wow. He said that was a mistake on his part, because I firmly believe if he had a 5-round fight against Chimaev, he wins this fight.
Yeah.
I think, and it was a mistake on his part.
Yeah.
He didn't feel comfortable with the weight because that was the first time he's ever fought at middleweight. I will say this though, he looked absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Looked shredded. Like I was just like, so you fought at 170 at one point? It doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
Didn't look like it at all. And so good fight. Again, you take a man of that caliber on short notice and second guess how you should go about it. That's why I lost.
Yeah.
That's why I lost.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super disappointed that these both had to happen at with short notice. 10 days both of them basically got. Kamaru's 36 years old now and won't get too many more of these types of shots, so maybe that was his thought. But yeah, to come up in weight and have to fight in such short notice, it's just such a tough ask, and we haven't seen very many guys ever be successful in it, even with a full camp. So just being, with that little of preparation time, it just seems like they were, just behind the 8 ball right away.
Yeah, they were at a supreme disadvantage. Now that Chimaev has won and he's been promised Strickland, I did like what Strickland had to say about Chimaev. He goes, Chimaev doesn't deserve this fight. He doesn't deserve this shot at me because he fought a guy that's actually a welterweight.
Right.
And then he gets the chance to fight me. Now I know what this is really all about. This is more about Dana White saying, Drakus, you said no to me. You don't get your shot.
Yeah.
That's what it's more about than anything else. That's exactly what it's about. But I am still intrigued about the matchup between Strickland and Chimaev. Because you think Strickland's going to back off Chimaev? No, man. It's like putting two Rottweilers in a cage and be like, I don't know who's going to win, but go at it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking forward to it. I really am.
I don't think we'll see it for the foreseeable future because Chimaev said he broke his hand in the first round, and so he'll be on the shelf for at least 6 months. So it will. I would think that we'll see Strickland against somebody in the meantime.
So do they think they give it to Drakus, or they still give it to somebody else?
They probably don't. No, they probably hold a grudge and don't give it to him.
Yeah, I think so. I truly do. I think they still give it to somebody else, and Drakus is still on the outside looking in.
Yeah. yeah, that's just the way they've operated very many times. So yeah, it wouldn't be a surprise to me. Yeah. Okay, how about the Magomed Ankalaev Johnny Walker? Obviously, we got robbed of a matchup that we were excited to see. This has to be handled better, and maybe this is a moment that we see something change, where a doctor comes in at a certain time limit and has to have a translator in there and asks many questions, not just where are you? And a lot of guys could take that in a lot of different ways. Some guys are pretty sarcastic. Some guys don't understand English as well, and supposedly this guy English wasn't his first language either. So this was a mistake on the doctor's part, the referee's part. Everybody involved really has to take some blame for this, and hopefully we don't see something like this going forward, because it was an illegal shot. You can't say unintentional. It was delivered in the fashion where the guy's on the ground. He delivered it. He should immediately get 5 minutes and then come in and start assessing him. Can he move forward? Maybe there's 4 or 5 questions, and if he doesn't register them all, I don't know. But this left a big sour taste in everybody's mouth. It shouldn't have ended this way.
I thought they were going to handle it like they do with the eye pokes now, where they give the guy time, they give him space, and then they come to him. Yeah. That's what they should do with these headshots now, illegal headshots. Give him space, give him time, and then yes, it doesn't work if the doctor speaks a different language and the fighter speaks a different language. Yeah. It's pretty much it's super easy. It's logic. Yeah. What the hell, man? Where's the translator? Where's the translator for the doctor? It's like, no. Don't say it like that, moron. Or ask him a couple more questions. Yeah. Like, okay, where are you? in the desert. Could you be more specific? Do you know what city we're in? Do you know what country we're in? Like, he didn't ask any of that.
No.
He just kind of stopped it at that and said, he has no idea where we are. We could be in Arizona. Whatever. We're done. We're done here.
That
What
seems ridiculous. It seemed ridiculous that's how he evaluated that he was too concussed to continue. Like, where are you? I'm in the cage. I'm in an arena. I'm in a city. I'm in a country. Like, what does he want to hear from me here? Like, what do I say? Do I say? What do I say? Like, I don't even know if I'm put on the spot. I remember what I'm supposed to say here.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And then even if I do say the correct thing, see me as English isn't the doctor's first language. It's like, wait, did you understand what I just said? Did you?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully this doesn't happen again. Obviously, Dana actually had to step into the octagon to calm both men down because I'm going to be honest. I'm like, what happens if they just start fighting security? Awesome.
Yeah,
whatever.
It was getting out of control there for a few minutes. The Dana White was able to get in and cool the heads, but the security was having to try. And these are big boys that were really wanting to get at each other, and it didn't look like if they, if Dana White doesn't come in, I think it might have escalated into a brawl.
Oh yeah, I think so for sure. And also too, I'm sorry, security guys, you stand no shot.
No,
you're going to get beaten up real bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There was a brawl outside the cage around that time. You sent me a clip of it that night. Paulo Costa and who was he fighting?
Drawing a complete blank. Was it a Russian? I can't remember right now.
Yeah,
but
it was like Ilya Topuria or like
something like
Yuri
that.
Prohachka, or I don't know, I forget, but somebody. I at first I didn't realize it was Costa, and then I looked again and I thought, holy cow, I think that's Costa right there, and it just ended up escalating into some pretty bad stuff for a while there.
Oh yeah, like it looked like somebody jumped at him, like Khabib when he jumped out of the cage onto
Conor McGregor.
It looked like that, where I'm just like, oh, awesome. All right. That's a real fight. Okay. We didn't have to fight in the octagon, but we're going to have to fight here. And again, I feel bad for security because it's like, you guys stand no chance. I'm sorry.
These guys are trained killers, and you're at a very big mismatch with these guys.
Yeah, man, you're just a punching bag. Which is pretty cool. Right on. Good for you.
Well, this ended up being the second no contest of the evening, both because of this doctor, and I hope he's replaced. I hope, I hope the next time they have something there, they've got, translators, they've got proper protocols, time limits, proper questions. We don't want crap like this. These are guys that have been in training camp for 3-4 months. They come in, we want a result. We want, a winner and a loser, and everyone turns into a loser in this scenario. And it was a really sour taste in my mouth, and I hope they don't have to taste that again with this kind of crap. Okay, let's go to the Alex Garoff, Warley Alves fight. Unfortunately, another Russian win. Man, what the hell? We got to get these Russians. Like, why do they put so many Russians on an Abu Dhabi card? Like, give me a break. Like, I don't want to see so many guys from Russia here. They got to dance around with their flag and go in again and again and get another win. Frustrating, very frustrating for me.
Well, okay, come on now. It's geographically, it makes sense. That's why you're seeing so many Russians. Okay, so now that that's been said, Aliskerov looked absolutely fantastic. He put it on Alves, got him out of there real quick, hit him with the flying knee, ferocious combos up against the cage, dropped them, game over, done. Moving on.
Yeah, that flying knee was very vicious, and then just started landing tons of shots and brought him out. 50K for the victory. I failed to mention the 50K bonus for Islam as well on this card, but Askarov gets 50K for his deal. Okay. The fight that kicked off the main card was Nurmagomedov against Gafarov from Tajikistan. Gafarov made a huge mistake rushing in, trying to get, I don't know, trying to get some advantage, maybe a takedown, just landed in the guillotine choke and just was forced to tap. He went to sleep because he tapped on the wrong side, and the Mark Goddard wasn't in proper position. But yeah, this was a big mistake by Gafarov here, and he ended up paying for it.
He panicked. He panicked, went to his wrestling, and I guess he forgot about the fact that the guillotine choke is one of this guy's best moves.
Yeah.
One of his best moves. He wrapped it up real quick, and then I love the fact where Mark Goddard was just like, "No, you guys are still. No, you're not fighting anymore. He's out cold. Okay, fight's over."
Yeah, that was unfortunate that he tapped with the wrong hand, and yeah, he had to have a little early nap there, and yeah, I got choked out. 50K bonus for Nurmagomedov of this, and okay, Mohammed Mokaev, the Punisher, 23 years old and 13 years younger than Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott, kind of one of the OGs guys, really has a lot of records and has been in there for against a lot of guys. But Elliott ended up saying that he did get knocked out on the slam. Really had a flash knockout, got woken up, and ended up lasting the entire 3 rounds. But yeah, what did you make of this in the end, that Mokaev ended up getting 50K for the arm triangle choke victory in the end?
I thought Mokaev did really well with a tricky opponent like Tim Elliott, who's great at creating scrambles. He was able to keep him pinned for the most part onto the mat, like when he needed to.
Yeah.
Also, too, there's supposed to be rules about him playing the game about having the hand up and the hand down, and Elliott was trying to lift him up so he could throw knees. It made the fight a little bit sloppy in that respect. And I understood what Elliott was trying to do. And I understood that, like, seeing the instant replay on some of those knees, super close.
Yeah.
Some of them were super, super close.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I don't know if that's illegal, right? Like, it's like, so anyways, regardless, I thought Mokaev, great win. But I think they may need to address that rule now about playing the game, because
he seemed to use it as kind of a cheating tool, and I didn't like it. Yeah,
I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
I didn't like it either. So
he got 50K, as I mentioned, and he called out Kai Kara France. We'll see if the UFC makes that happen. The Mohammed Yahya, the only hometown guy from Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. I was really hoping he would put on a great performance, but Trevor Peak, another guy that I'm not a fan of. Don't like these Alabama guys, big time rednecks, and not a fan of the way he fights. He's so sloppy. He's throwing punches like this, and I'm just like, come on, like, yeah, he might be exciting and he's tough as hell, but get a guy in there that knows how to properly fight. Anyway, he pulled out the decision win there, but I was unhappy with it in the end.
He psyched Yahya out in the 3rd round. That was the thing. Like, he got in his head. Right. The Alabama Southerner got in the Middle Eastern guy's head. It's just like, come on, man. You've seen some stuff. Yeah. This shouldn't actually affect you. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the way I was looking at it. I'm like, that guy shouldn't be affecting you like that. But he did. Yeah. He got in his head, and that's how Pete got the win.
Yeah. Yeah, he was really making him he was making him kind of get scared of him, and it was kind of crazy how he he just approached it, kept at him, and was able to knock down the hometown boy. and take him away. Back to the drawing board. I hope we did get to see more guys from that part of the world. I was disappointed there wasn't more guys on the card from there, instead of Russian. Not great. Okay. The fight that happened right before that had the bantamweight fight between Javid Basharat and Victor Henry. And this also was mishandled by the doctor, and the fight was called off after Victor Henry took a shot to the groin and it was unable to continue, had to go to the hospital and had to get some scans done. He was throwing up in the locker room after. He was in so much pain. They said it swelled up down there to crazy, brutal amounts. And this was tough to watch and witness. And I think it was very mishandled by all involved too.
The doctor said he thought he was putting on a show. He was acting. All right. Right there for me, you never do another UFC ever again.
No.
Ever again.
No.
And rightfully so. That dude cussed the doctor out, as he should have.
Yeah.
Because that's not acting, as far as I'm concerned. You saw his reaction, like, no man, that's bad. Like he got hit, and that's real bad.
Yeah.
And so right there, that's when I'm like, okay, I'm done with this doctor. You should never do another UFC ever again.
Yeah, I agree. I saw Josh Barnett's comments, and he said, "Holy cow! Like this guy was in severe pain, and this could be potential of life-threatening. How badly he was hurt, and for the referee to just dismiss it and say the guy was faking. Yeah, you're right. Get rid of this guy. Move on to a different kind of field and doctor. This is not for you.
No, absolutely not for you. Like you can't, like as a doctor, you can't tell that that's what really happened. The hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Brutal. Idiot. Complete idiot.
Not good at all. Is there any other fights that you really feel like covering? We're running low on time here.
I'm good.
Okay. We've got a week off from the UFC. The next card is Saturday, November 4th, Jalton Almeida, Derek Lewis. We'll cover that next week, and we'll be able to get into that. I hear that Michael Venom Page, MVP, is close to signing with the UFC. Dana White said so. So is he. He has just run out his contract with Bellator and is a really good welterweight. Would come in with a 17-2 record, 7-1 in his last 8 fights, 13 knockouts in his career. He did lose the title shot he had once in Bellator in Bellator 281 in a split decision, but this is a guy that'll be exciting. Hopefully they can come to an agreement. Bellator's on his way out. They've pretty much made an announcement that their 301 card in December will be their final card, and PFL, I guess, is taking over. And so, hopefully he moves over to the UFC and we get to see him. He's a very dynamic, exciting fighter.
Oh, he's an excellent fighter. He's an amazing fighter, and he's got highlight reel knockouts. And also too, super dangerous. Like he hurts people really, really badly. So I would love to see him in the UFC, but I'm sure that those contract negotiations, he's going to make sure that it's the best contract he could ever get.
Yeah, big money. Yeah. I'm sure the PFL is going to try to sign him. He'll be, very coveted free agent, and we'll see what shakes down. The PFL did announce that Jake Paul, Nate Diaz will fight in the PFL next year. And so that's a pretty big announcement. Diaz will get his revenge and be able to beat Paul in the cage instead of the ring.
So now the question is, how easy is he going to make it look? Like, does Jake Paul actually have a shot at beating Nate Diaz in mixed martial arts.
I doubt it. I
I
doubt it.
got me too.
No.
I like. There's so many ways that I can see it go severely wrong for Jake Paul, like him breaking an arm, popping a knee. Like I just,
Yeah.
I don't see it, man. Like I'm just like, okay, well now you're in his world. Yeah, I'm not really giving you a shot there.
Yeah. No, we keep seeing these crossovers keep happening, and it just doesn't seem like, really legitimately anybody at this high level could beat the other guy when he's making his first appearance. If a guy had lots of boxing fights and lots of mixed martial arts fights and was making a crossover, either way, maybe, but when it's, the guy's first time, like, how can it be? How can you even think that it's going to be a legitimate fight? It really just doesn't compute. It's different sports. It's just, you just think, okay, I'm glad they're doing it, but I just think Paul doesn't have a shot, really.
Like unless you're like a fighting savant,
not
happening.
No,
just not happening.
Not happening. Yeah. We've reached the 2-hour mark. We were going to do a NBA preview. Season starts tomorrow, kicks off with a couple games. Do we forge ahead and do it tonight, or do we do it tomorrow and just try to fit in 1 hour tomorrow at some point? What would you prefer, and how should we handle it?
All right, you know what? Let's just do it.
Yeah,
I'm good.
okay. Okay.
I got my notes. I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do it. Okay. NBA preview. Really looking forward to the season. Some big changes in the league, and some new forces have emerged. Some very, very dynamic faces have changed teams. 133 days ago, Denver lifted the Larry O'Brien for the first time. They are favorites going in, and they should be. This is a solid team, kept it intact, maybe lost a couple key pieces, but I think Denver's a team to beat. They play the first game tomorrow, kick off the season. It'll be a rematch of the Western Conference Finals. The Lakers visit the Nuggets, tip off 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. And the second game tomorrow, the only two games on the schedule, the Suns visit the Warriors, 7 p.m. tip-off. And full slate, Wednesday 12 games, Thursday a couple games, Friday 11 games, Saturday 7. And boom, we're into it. I'm excited. It's going to be a great year. There are some changes. They have an in-season tournament this year, something to look forward to. I'll go through the details of that a little later. We've got making sure that load management is becoming a thing of the past, and we'll finally get a lot of guys playing all the time. There's a lot of big milestones coming this year, and a lot of things to look forward to. How excited are you about this 2023-24 season?
I've already seen the difference with the preseason games.
Yeah,
you've already seen the difference where I think the players have got the message loud and clear. Play the games.
Yeah.
Play the games.
Yeah.
Games matter. Play the games.
Yeah, the game between the Warriors and the Kings, you and I both watched it the other night, and one of the best preseason games maybe that's ever been played. And it's incredible that these new rules could force teams to play that hard in a meaningless game, but this gets you ready for a season that's very important.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that the network the network contracts are coming up for the NBA, all that money and everything else. They got to play, right? Because what are the networks paying for if the stars aren't playing?
Right.
Right. Yeah. So I love the fact that the preseason games were a precursor to showing that these guys are now committed. They understand what's at stake, which is getting all that damn money. Right.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. And then also too, the preseason game, which was the Kings versus Golden State
Warriors. Yeah.
That was an amazing game.
Yeah.
Like here I am fully invested. I'm watching the game, and it felt like it was a mid-season game, not a preseason game. It felt mid-season. So that made me super excited for this year coming up in the
Yeah,
NBA.
me too. Yeah. As I mentioned, the in-season tournament that goes between November 3rd and December 7th. Starting November 3rd, there will be games that count for the regular season games every Tuesday and Friday. The group play between there's 5 teams in 6 different groups. Those teams will all play each other until November 28th. The top 2 teams from each group will move on to the quarterfinals. Those will take place December 4th and 5th. The semis take place on December the 6th, and then final 7th. And 67 games in all. The finals take place in Vegas, and I think this will be great. I think this is a very smart move. It really keeps a lot of people invested into those dark days in November, December. And it will give a lot of teams that are lesser lights a chance at something to play for where they might not be playing for something down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it just brings more urgency to the season.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that's much needed. I hope it works, and I hope that the players actually buy in.
Yeah. This is going to be great. There's a lot of milestones. A lot of players are close to reaching. LeBron James really is forefront this year, going into his 21st season. He's close to getting 40,000 points. He's going to pass Karl Malone for the most minutes early on. He's second all time in a lot of categories behind Kareem. And yeah, he's needs 1,350 points to get 40,000, 759 minutes to pass Karl the Jerk Malone for second all time behind Kareem. Probably needs another year to pass Kareem for that. He's number 9 all time in games played. He will pass Kevin Willis and Kevin Garnett this year, and probably the Jerk Malone, vaulting into number 6. 21st season, as I mentioned. He's already become the most decorated all-star, and we'll keep pushing that farther. He's second most behind Vince Carter, and his 21st season is the second most behind Vince Carter, who played 22. 4 other guys played 21 seasons: Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Robert Parrish, and Kevin Willis. He's number 9 in 3-pointers, and 129 to pass Vince Terry and Vince Carter to become number 6 overall. Triple doubles, he's going to pass Jason Kidd and going after Magic. And career free throws, passing Kobe for number 3 all time, is very much in his wheelhouse, and on and on and on. It's just going to be a year where we're just constantly hearing more milestones that he's passed.
Yeah, and it's going to be fantastic because everybody's just like, well, I don't know how he's doing it, but he is doing it.
Yeah.
And I think we can comfortably say nobody will probably do it better at this advanced age.
Nobody will
ever even come close to this.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Yeah. Steph Curry needs just 110 more 3-pointers to reach 3,500. Nobody's even reached 3,000 before. He had 273 last year, so that's very doable. His backcourt mate, Klay Thompson, is only 93 3-pointers away. 9 3-pointers away from reaching number 10, Jamal Crawford. Could be in the top 5 this year easily. Got 301 3-pointers last year. He's going to pass Jason Terry, Vince Carter, and Kyle Korver likely, and LeBron possibly LeBron's just a few ahead of him currently. So another guy that's in the Golden State backcourt, Chris Paul. He will probably become the second greatest assist man and second greatest steals of all time this year. He will be quite far behind John Stockton, that jerk too, but a little bit closer passing Jason Kidd for the most steals and the most assists. 141 steals to pass Kidd, and he needs what does he need? 591 assists to pass him. So yeah, it's doable this year, and it's going to be fun to watch all three of those guys chase milestones.
Yeah, and it's going to be great. And yes, definitely doable for Chris Paul to do that because he's passing to the greatest shooter that the league has ever seen,
right?
And another fantastic shooter who's probably going to be or is already in the top 10, possibly the top 5 by the end of the season.
Yeah, yeah. Probably the two greatest shooters that are in the NBA currently. So yeah, they're going to get a lot more. He's going to rack up a lot more assists there. Kevin Durant, their Clay and Steph's former teammate, needs only 518 points to pass Moses Malone for 10th on the all-time career list. Last year, he went from 21 all the way up to 13. And if he gets 2,000 points this year, he passes Shaq at number 8. So a lot of big top names there. Nikola Jokic, MVP of the playoffs. He is 6th currently on the triple doubles list. He only needs 2 more to pass LeBron, and could be a battle between them all year. Jason Kidd is in his reach, and 34 to pass Magic Johnson, who's 3rd all time with 138. Damian Lillard, who's now a Milwaukee Buck, needs only 624 points from 20,000. He'll be the 51st player to ever get that. If he gets 1,560 points, he'll get to 41st on the all-time list. And he only needs 64 three-pointers to pass Kyle Korver for number 5 on the all-time three-pointers list, and 173 to pass Reggie Miller for 4th all-time. So I'm sure he's going to be able to get there as well.
No, he's definitely going to get there, and he's probably going to have the easiest time ever doing it playing alongside Giannis.
Yeah, no kidding. Westbrook's going to set the triple doubles record, put it fully out of reach. He's chasing 25,000 points. He only needs 543, and same as James Harden, also will probably get the 25,000 K mark, and gonna probably vault himself up into 14th all-time assists, and maybe he's looking at number 12 all-time, number 2 all-time Ray Allen for three-pointers too, if he takes the court, if they can facilitate a trade and get him somewhere. He wants to go to Clippers. Who knows what'll happen, but right now he's holding out and not expected to play in their season opener.
Yeah, big ifs for James Harden.
Yeah,
like if he takes the court, if he ever plays again, depending upon how all of this comes about, he might not ever see the basketball court ever again.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. I'm super. Into it.
I wouldn't shed a tear if that was it we saw from him. He's become so selfish and self-absorbed and not a team guy. And he's on the team with the MVP of the league. Like, come on, what more do you want here? Frustrated with guys like Harden, and he's forced himself out of lots of situations, and it's just frustrating to see a guy who has all the talent in the world just continue to be a cancer on these teams and upset the mix time after time.
Yeah, and also too knowing that he'll just blow up the locker room if he has to, right? So he's made enough money. So if he wants to ride off into the sunset in this way, go for it. You
Yeah.
know, like nobody else, like you a grown man, nobody else is gonna tell you what you need to do. You just do what you're going to want to do. And I don't know if any other team besides the Clippers would be willing to take a risk on James Harden because this is what he does. If he doesn't like what's going on, that's what he's going to do. Why would you take the risk?
Yeah.
I just wouldn't want him personally in my locker.
No,
whatsoever.
totally. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, so let's go about it this way. We'll start in the West and we'll go from last year's records and we'll just briefly touch on all 15 teams in the West, and then we'll switch to the East and do all 15 teams there. We'll start with the defending winning NBA champions, Denver Nuggets. 16-4 in their playoff run. Were able to dispatch the Miami Heat in 5 games to win the title. Jokic finally solidified his place as among the elite because now he's got the ring and he's got that MVP of the finals. And they everything just finally came together for this team. They've got really probably one of the best starting 5 in the NBA history, and been able to play so well together with Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, and KCP. This team is very great. They lost a little bit of depth, but I expect them to be at or near the top again in the West.
Yeah, so do I. They lost Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown provided a lot, but I firmly believe that Christian Brown can do everything that Bruce Brown provided for them.
True.
So I believe he's going to step up and provide that kind of role. Yeah. I believe Jamal Murray is finally going to become an all-star this year, barring injury. Hopefully I just didn't jinx him. Anyways, I believe that's going to happen because Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are pretty much, besides the other new duo that just happened, probably the best pick and roll tandem in the league.
Yeah.
By far and away.
They're far and away so great with that. True. Yeah. I look forward to this team. You mentioned they lost Brown. They also lost Jeff Green, but Justin Holiday comes in. I think that's going to be a smart move. Reggie Jackson should have a pretty prominent role off the bench with this team. A lot of new faces that I'm excited about. Hunter Tyson, Peyton Watson. There's going to be some rookies coming into the fold, and I think just that pick and roll is just almost impossible to stop, and they're just going to be able to ride that. Malone seems to be very confident in calling that play most of the time down the floor, and when you can't stop something, what are you going to do?
Well, there's not much you can do. You're just going to watch it happen and be like, oh man, don't know what we're going to do to try to stop that. Because with when you have the Joker, he makes the right reads all the time.
Yeah.
He makes playing the game super easy. You don't really have to outthink it. He's going to do the thinking for you. All you got to do is cut and move. Go to open space. He will find you. And that's how good he is.
Because Denver plays in a relatively small market compared to, a lot of the big teams in this league, I think a lot of people haven't been able to see Jokic play until last year's run. And then he was really on full display. And this is a guy that you love watching play because he's the best passing big man. He's the best at pick and rolls. He's just so dominant in so many areas of the game. And he's not like a guy that you think is just an Adonis figure. Holy cow, the most in shape guy, like a LeBron. But he just knows how to play, uses his smarts, and is just probably one of the greatest players to ever hit the court. And he's really entering this prime where I think he can win a bunch of rings.
Yes, I believe so too. And also on top of that, he is actually taking his health, like his conditioning, a hell of a lot more seriously than what he did in the beginning of his career, because now he can play like that. He can play in those games. He showed it in the playoffs.
Yeah.
He can bring the ball up all game. He can run the court all game.
Yeah.
And that's what he can do. And I have all the confidence in the world that there's not really going to be severe drop off from the Nuggets whatsoever coming into this season. The only thing that I'm actually really going to be paying attention with the Nuggets is Michael Porter Jr. Can he take a step forward? Can he be more reliable than what he was in the playoffs? Because there was many games that he was a no-show.
Yeah.
We were lucky that they didn't need him, but I think he's going to have to take that next step.
Yeah.
He's going to have to be there so that the team, when he's needed, when he's called upon, he can perform.
Yeah. I think he needs to be that key third option, and he needs to be that guy. He needs to be like a Chris Middleton with Milwaukee that we'll mention later. And I think you're right. To me, he's very key and needs to take that next level. There was some pretty spectacular games from him, but it was few and far between, and he was up and down. He needs to be very consistent.
Yeah, definitely. He needs to be more consistent, and that's the key.
Second place in the Western Conference last year went to the Memphis Grizzlies. Kind of shocking a lot of people and surprising them. They were dispatched in the first round in 6 games to the Lakers. And I think they're going to take a major step back this year. Ja Morant comes in. He has a 25-game suspension to start the year, so they're going to be behind right away. It's going to probably take a while for him to get up to speed after that 25 games. If he suffers any injuries, maybe he's missing half the season next year. This is a dynamic player that's very huge catalyst for them to have success, and he's missing. They also just were dealt a huge blow. Steven Adams is out for the entire season, had to undergo knee surgery and is done. And they also lost Dylan Brooks. Even though he is a jerk and he caused a lot of grief, he was a very, very important aspect of this team defensively and helping out in a lot of ways. And those 3 key pieces missing, I think this team is going to have a hard time making the playoffs.
I think you're right. They added Marcus Smart. That should help a little bit with the defensive prowess that Dylan Brooks had before on the team. So that's good. They brought in Derrick Rose, which is a veteran presence, which will hopefully help stabilize the youthful attitude of this team, make them more mature, make them more accountable, be more accountable as professional basketball players. Hopefully that's a thing. And I think the injury to Steven Adams and the fact that he won't be available this whole season, that hurts. That's a big hit for the Grizzlies.
They were second in rebounds in the NBA before he got hurt. And after he got hurt, they became 25th in the league. So that's how much of a presence he is. He was always phenomenal on the offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds. They really were harmed severely when he went down, and they're going to miss him dearly. Desmond Bane has really been stepping up, and I really like his game, and he's coming along. Jaren Jackson made the All-Star team last year and took a major step and is a key piece to this team. But losing those 3 key pieces that I mentioned off the top, they've got a very young team depth-wise throughout the bench. So Marcus Smart, he brings a tenacious D and a great element, but I really think that we will not see them competing near the top of the conference again this year.
Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with Ja Morant and him playing with guns. He's got to realize that that's no longer a thing. Got to mature, man. Got to mature.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, and hopefully he learns a lesson, and we never have to talk about that type of aspect to him. He's a phenomenal talent, great to watch, very athletic, and I hope we can just talk about his basketball game after this suspension. Sacramento Kings ended up 3rd place in the West last year with a 48-34 record. They were knocked out by the Golden State Warriors, and this is a team that seems to have really built themselves to emulate a lot of the Warriors style. De'Aaron Fox is an emerging star. Love his game. and his broken finger in the playoffs really hampered them. Sabonis, he played most of the season with a broken thumb, and it came out after the playoffs were over. So broken digits really derailed this promising season. But those two guys together, and with the supporting cast, I see this team probably being in that second, third, fourth position this year, and really emerging as a top level talent. I think, yeah, they're ready to take a next step after a great regular season last year, getting knocked out so soon. I think it'll fuel them.
Oh yeah, me too. I love this team. I love the roster construction. I think from watching the preseason, it looked like Keegan Murray has taken a step forward as well. And the sneaky ad that nobody's really talking about, but I absolutely love the ad, is the EuroLeague MVP, Sasha Benzenkov, who's a very good catch and shoot player.
Nice.
And he's going to add to their shooting immensely for this team. They're going to be super dangerous with this guy on the court.
Yeah. Yeah, good call. Yeah, I've heard lots of good things about him, so I look forward to seeing him. Keegan Murray, great. I love him. Malik Monk, I think, is good. The Canadian Trey Lyles is there. I loved his game in the World Cup for Canada, and I think he's going to emerge as a guy that gets a lot of rebounds and has a lot of good minutes. Davion Mitchell, great defense. Kessler Edwards and Chris Duarte, those two guys in the middle, also really helping out at center. I think, yeah, this team is really emerging as a top level talent, and doesn't really have massive drop off once it hits their 6-man, 7-man, 8-man. I think they've got a lot of good bench guys, good role players that can really keep the game close when the stars are off the court. Health wise, as long as they stay healthy, I think this team's going to be fun to watch, and really should give Denver a run for their money.
Yeah, they're going to be fun to watch. They're exciting, and I firmly expect the Kings to have plenty of playoff runs in the near future going forward.
Okay, Phoenix Suns ended up finishing 4th in the playoffs last year. They lost to Golden State in the first round in 7. This was an experiment, bringing in Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. Devin Booker is the only holdout from this team reaching the final in 2021. That's how much turnover there's been. Once Kevin Durant came, I think a lot of us saw that they decimated their entire team. They had no depth, and they had serious issues. They've now also lost Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton. I think those are big losses. I think Yusuf Nurkic is a step down from DeAndre Ayton, and Chris Paul leaving now. They don't have a point guard. I don't know who handles the ball all the time. I guess it's going to be a combination of Beal and Booker, but no traditional point guard. This is an experiment that I'm not sure what's going to happen. These guys are going to try to outscore everyone, and it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I don't see this team actually being in that top 4 again. I think they will take a step back. I don't see it working, and I think there's going to be some injury troubles trying to make this experiment work.
I think they're still going to be maybe not top 4, but top 5. I think they're still good enough to do that. It's going to be interesting to see how Beal, Booker, and KD work it out. I think their main ball handlers will be Beal and Booker. But it's going to be interesting to see how they work that stuff out. I think them getting Watanabe and Eric Gordon, great pickups.
Yeah,
I think that's fantastic for the team. They still retain Damian Lee's services. They have Bol. I don't know what he can do, but maybe he can add something that they've never had before with his unique play style. And unfortunately, Nurkic was a dump. That was a dump by Portland to get him off the books. Whatever he can provide, yes, it's a step down from Ayton, but he's still a big body.
Yeah. I think Grayson Allen was a nice addition. Nasir Little and at center, I think he'll, he has potential. Joshua Kogi, I like. Kelly Bates Diop, I think is great. I do like Eric Gordon and Utah Watanabe. We'll see. We'll see how it comes together. Yeah, good chance they finish about 5th or 6th, I think. They were able to address a lot of issues in depth, but they still have a lot of minimum salaries. And I guess guys that they're hoping kind of emerge and step into roles. We'll see. It's an experiment. They blew it up. I guess they needed to and wanted to. Matt Ishbia has come in, new owner of this team, and wanted fresh faces, a new approach, and I guess we'll see how it comes together. The team that finished 5th in the West was the Clippers. They lost to the Suns 4-1 in the first round. This team is just super frustrating. If you're a Clippers fan, I guess you got to be just as frustrated as all can be, because they just couldn't stay healthy. Kawhi Leonard, just the poster boy for load management, but a guy that just, even with that load management, hasn't been able to stay healthy for years and years and years. And they've never been able to just take the step where a lot of people thought they should. I don't know what's going to happen with this team with James Harden. If he comes in, it'll be interesting, and they might be somewhere that's up in the mix, but you just can't count on them to be healthy, and you just don't really know how this roster is going to be come halfway through the season.
It's interesting to me, right? Because Leonard and George, unfortunately, they just can't stay on the court. Yeah. They can't stay healthy, and they can't stay on the court. But there's one guy that can stay on the court who's super dependable, and that's Russell Westbrook.
Yeah,
Russell Westbrook will play.
Yeah,
he'll be there to the bitter end.
Oh yeah.
So, and then how Harden fits in with this team. At times, I look at their roster and I go, I guess he does kind of, but at other times, I'm just like, well, or would he not just be pissed off at what happened in Brooklyn? Yeah. Where all of a sudden Kyrie wasn't playing enough and this and that was happening, and then you go, I don't like this either. Yeah. I want to leave, and then he's gone, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens with that. But on paper, they still actually have a really good team. You got Norm Powell, excellent player. Yeah. Terrence Mann, excellent player. Nicholas Batum, great two-way player. They have pieces. But the pieces only work if your stars are available to play. They'll go as far as what Leonard and George can give them. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, you said it all there. I agree with so much of what you said. I do like Bones Highland. I think that was a good addition. Kmart Jr., another great, providing great length and depth there. They have a lot of interesting pieces, but can they mesh them together? Can they make it work? I'm glad you mentioned Brooklyn, because it does, to me, look like Harden joins them. It's like a Brooklyn thing, and it flamed out really badly there. And I expect it to be the same if they do add Harden. But I think it'll take a while for that deal to be consummated, if it ever does. And in the meantime, if they can stay healthy, they'll be fun. If they can't, which they haven't proven to do for many years, they'll be just one of those also-ran teams sort of competing for a bottom level playoff, maybe a play-in too. So Golden State, 6th in the Western Conference last year, record of 44-38, 9 games out of first and a game ahead of the Lakers. They were 11-30 last year on the road, and that was what really killed them. They beat the Kings in the first round. They lost to the Lakers in the second round in 6 games. This team can be great health-wise, same as we've mentioned with a couple of these teams. This will be interesting, seeing how the pieces fit the big three, I guess, along with Draymond. Bob Myers is gone, and Mike Dunleavy has come in to solidify this. interesting move getting Chris Paul, bringing him over. Jordan Poole was a bit of a problem. It wasn't, they didn't get along that well, so it's good he's out the door. From what I saw in the preseason and what I've seen in these guys' careers, I think this could be exciting and fun and a really amazing team to watch. I just really hope and pray that they can all stay healthy.
Yeah, that's always number one. I love the fact of one of the preseason games that I was watching where they were basically saying that the team got together themselves and had a mini camp together. I think they were trying to address the issues of defensive responsibilities when they're on the road and things of that nature, and also too trying to get some team cohesion even before the preseason started. That to me tells me that how serious they are about this particular season. And knowing that Chris Paul knows I only got maybe 1 or 2 more kicks to the can here, then I'm done.
Yeah.
So he's going for it. He's going for everything that he can. I like that. I like some of the veterans that they added, which was Corey Joseph and Rudy Gay. I love the fact that Kuminga played very well in the preseason and looked like he took a step forward. There's a lot here to like for Golden State. Even with Dale Davis's son, Trace, Jackson Davis, I think it was. I love the fact that he's a great roll man. He rolls the rim, and he finishes hard at the rim. They needed a guy like that too as well. So I think there's definitely potential for Golden State to actually finish this year in the top 5.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see them right up there. I see them probably 3rd or 4th in the West. I think Dario Saric was a good grab. He's a great stretch playing center. I like what Kuminga brought. You mentioned him. Kevon Looney, love his game, always have. He plays so much bigger than his size, and he's such a key aspect and piece for them. I do love that they really got together. They were able to really start bonding, figuring this thing out. How they played in the preseason was phenomenal. And if this team can stay this way, another key thing is Andrew Wiggins missed a lot of last year with some personal issues. And hopefully that's been cleared up and figured out. And he's very key. He was very key on that title run they had. And I think if he can get back to that level, look out. They're going to be, a force in the West.
Oh yeah, most certainly.
Okay, Lakers. Obviously, health. When you got the glass man, Anthony Davis, and then you got 40. What is he? 39 years old this year. LeBron James. I guess the resting policy doesn't apply to guys like him because of his age. So I think he can get away with spending some time on the sidelines waiting. But I love how much Rob Pelinka was able to build out this roster right before the playoffs last year. All the additions that they made. I like Austin Reeves' game, really great. Rui Hachimura is a good. D'Angelo Russell, good. Jared Vanderbilt, Cam Reddish, Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes, Max Christie. Oh my God. Bringing in Gabe Vincent was smart after his run with the Heat. This team, on paper, looks great, top to bottom. I like it if they can stay healthy, keep AD and LeBron in there most of the season. They're going to finish much higher in 7th.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as LeBron James goes, for me, he'll give you what he can. Yeah. I'm not blaming him for anything. He's in year 21, whatever. All right. Who I will hold accountable is AD.
Yeah.
AD, the team will go as far as AD can take them. I hope that he's taken his conditioning and his health as seriously as possible for this particular year, because when he's on, he's an MVP candidate all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they'll go as far as AD can take them. LeBron has already said, "This is your team. We're following you now."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I like that LeBron has tried to pass the torch to AD. I hope that AD takes the torch and runs with it.
Yeah. I hope finally he stays healthy for an entire season. It would be nice. It would be just nice to see a guy with that much talent and ability to be able to stay healthy, and we'll see them make a run of it. He's obviously the most key piece of it all. Who finished 8th in the West last year was the Minnesota Timberwolves. This was a team that had a lot of issues and problems. They were punching each other. They were punching walls. They were having issues and problems. I think they need to make a big trade. They got to get rid of Karl-Anthony Towns or Rudy Gobert. I think there's just too many big guys in the middle, and they could get some key pieces to fill in some other spots if they made a big deal. Anthony Edwards is emerging as a really top level talent, and I think he can be one of the best players in the league. If this team, doesn't punch each other and have all these issues and problems, this will be a fun team. And I think, Kyle Anderson is a valuable piece, a few others, but I think I think Kyle Anthony Towns would be the smartest piece to move to try to bring in a little bit of help.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, because trying to get off Rudy Gobert's contract at this point in time is probably next to impossible. Yeah. Edwards definitely has the mentality to lead, and I think he's shown through the FIBA World Cup he has a responsibility to do that, and he's ready for it. Yeah. He's ready for that. I love Jaden McDaniels. I think he'll probably take another step defensively. He's a great defensive wing. I think he's probably one of the best in the NBA. True, yeah. It's just this two-headed dragon thing that they're trying to work out with Gobert and Towns. There was a lot of people that said, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if they can make this work. They got another shot at it. Let's see what they can do.
Yeah, let's see what they can do. Okay, we're going to blast through most of the other teams in the West, but we'll just touch briefly. The 9th place team was New Orleans Pelicans. Mostly fell all the way down to 9th because Zion Williamson got hurt and has continued to miss a ton of games. You and I talked a few days ago, last week, I guess it was, about how it seems like he's finally taking his health seriously, working out, eating properly, and it looks like he's in great shape. Hopefully that keeps him on the court, and if he does, with Ingram, McCollum, and him, this team could really probably flip-flop Memphis and themselves and get right up there, top of the Western Conference.
They were at the top of the Western Conference when he was playing last year, and then he went out with the injury, and then they just cratered. So this team, again, will go as far as he can take them. I think he's super aware of that now. I think he's probably sick of the narrative of him, of what people have said about him, which is like, you're fat, you're out of shape, and you don't care about the game. That's your narrative right now. So I think he wants to change what that is all about. And he's got great teammates around him with McCollum, Valanciunas, and Jose Alvarado, Nance Jr. But again, they only go as far as Williams will take them. And hopefully he takes them to new heights. Hopefully he stays healthy for the entirety of the season.
Yeah, let's hope. That would be nice. I'm glad you mentioned Alvarado, Nance, all those guys, Valanciunas. I like Trey Murphy the second too. I think he's very solid, and this team, they should be great if they can stay healthy. It'll be great. I like the big three that they have there. OKC Thunder really have emerged as a talent. A lot of rebuild, and then all of a sudden, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just emerging as one of the best guards in the game. Great that he's from Canada. Great that he was able to take us to a silver medal in the World Cup. And I really loved him and Dort together on that team, as well as the Canadian team. There's a lot of other guys. One of your favorite guys is Josh Giddey. Why is he one of your favorite guys?
Because he's a tall, no, I wouldn't say magic like, but he's a tall point guard that sees the court well. And he's getting better every year. He's getting better to the point that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I don't believe, will have to do as much heavy lifting as he did last year because of his development. And also, too, we're forgetting one guy that's super important, to the rise of this team, which is Chet Holmgren.
Yeah.
I believe Chet Holmgren will actually win Rookie of the Year.
Nice.
I think he'll outplay Victor Wembanyama. He's that good. And I'm going to say this right now. I think OKC, they're on the verge, or they will finish in the top 4 in the West. I believe they're that good.
Wow.
I believe both Jalen Williams, Jalen with an E and Jalen with a Y or an I, both of those guys will take a step forward too. Because Jalen Williams was absolutely the starting one, was absolutely fantastic in his rookie season last year. I love this team. I love the roster construction. I love the team. They and even their bench is very strong. Great team, great youth around this team. Team's awesome as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, they're fun to watch, and yeah, they're really emerging. I love a lot of the pieces. I really hope that Chet Holmgren can stay healthy. I think he needs some size and strength, and hopefully he can stay away from the injury troubles that he's already endured. They have 3 Williams on this team that are great. Kenrich Williams is also a veteran that can do it all. Trey Mann is good. Yeah, he's got a nice step back jumper that it's pretty hard to stop. And yeah, this team has really put in a ton of key pieces, and I think they're about to take another big step forward. Dallas. Oh man. 11th place. This experiment with bringing in Kyrie and playing him with Luka failed miserably. The team just ended up exploding and imploding, and they missed the playoffs. And I don't know. I don't think they're going to be that much better this year. They're going to be one of those teams that, just really came apart because Kyrie doesn't really love sports. He doesn't really love playing basketball. He's tried his hardest to not play as often as he can, and at some point he'll probably blow this up. I don't like many of the pieces of this team, and I don't see this team emerging much. I think they actually might fall back.
Well, they added Seth Curry, so they got some shooting on the outside. That's a good thing. Hardaway Jr. is coming back. Hopefully he takes a step forward to provide more shooting and just like more offense too for the team. Luka and Kyrie they gotta figure out a way to coexist because they're both ball dominant guards. We'll see how that works. Clearly it's Luka's team though. Kyrie has to take a back seat at times. Will he? I guess we'll find out. And also too, hopefully Kyrie's just happy at this because he got paid. He got the money that he wanted. So we're hoping that should satisfy him. Question mark. Huge question mark.
Yeah.
But we'll see. But I do like the fact that they added Grant Williams for toughness, rebounding, and defense. I think that will help the Mavericks going forward. Yeah. But it's going to be tough with the roster the way it is. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Utah finished 12th last year, 37-45, 4 games out of the playoffs, 16 games back first. Strange team, no point guard, lots of bigs on the roster. Not really sure what to make of this team. They've got a lot of bigs there. Markkanen, I like. John Collins, finally out of Atlanta. We'll see how he emerges in a new team. Walker Kessler's good. Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, I think just sort of average point guards. Chris Dunn, good guard on defense. They've got Taylor Horton Tucker there. A few other pieces, but I don't know. Nobody really jumps out as just an amazing talent, and I think they sort of, finished close to about where they did last year.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're unfortunately it's still at the bottom of the West. Taylor Hendricks, their exciting rookie, could potentially have what it takes to replace the Donovan Mitchell, but he's still going to need time to develop into that kind of player.
Yeah.
They have Kelly Olynyk, who's just a smart, savvy vet forward. Yeah. Love Kelly Olynyk's game.
True.
At the end of the day, though, still at the bottom of the West. They still need more pieces to be competitive.
Okay, Portland, 13th last year. So they chose Scoot Henderson over Dame Lillard. Smart move? I don't think so. Pretty bizarre. They're gonna just totally rebuild this team right from the ground up. There are some interesting youngsters there: Shaden Sharp, Anthony Simons, DeAndre Ayton. He's good. Robert Williams, Matisse Thybulle, pieces not quite ready to emerge as a talent, but maybe give them a couple years. I like this team eventually, but obviously they blew it up with Dame out of there. They did get some good pieces back, and we'll see that probably emerge in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I see that. I think they got a good young core with Anthony Simons, Shaden Sharp, Scoot Henderson. I think that's fantastic for them to build around that. They do have a great player in Jeremy Grant, who should solidify that. DeAndre Ayton may have a reawakening of his game, being in a new place now with Portland. And they have pieces to trade. Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon might not be on this team going forward. They're on the team right now, but they may be trade options in the future. So.
Right. I do like what they're doing in Houston. I think they've added some really good pieces. Fred VanVleet was a huge addition. Dylan Brooks is smart. Jeff Green. They've got some really good young stars in Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., Amen Thompson, one of the twins, Tari Eason, Sengun, Cam Whitmore. This team is fun, and they're finally finished so far down the chain that they were able to get some good assets from the draft road and bring some excitement to this team finally. They were 22-60 last year, 31 games out of first place and at the bottom.
I think they'll be a little bit more competitive this year with the players that they've added, for sure. I'm looking forward to seeing the impact of the rookie Amen Thompson. I think he'll be rather impactful on this team. Yeah. The West is loaded. It's just a murderer's row of teams, because even the Rockets got better. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So the West is not good. The West is by far the stronger conference out of the two. Yeah. By far and away the stronger conference.
San Antonio was 5th, 22-60 last year. They were so happy because they got a franchise-altering player in Victor Wembanyama. This is a guy that's comes along once in a lifetime, and I love watching him in the preseason. Love his game. This is a guy that's 7'4", that has incredible handles. Just can do so much on the court at his size. It's incredible. They have some pieces here, and in a couple of years, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be a guy that's must-see TV. And this will be a fun team to build around him.
It's all about Victor. It's all about Victor with this team right now. I think he couldn't be happier with his situation, because he went to the perfect team that develops big men. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and now Victor Wembanyama. The situation's so good that even Greg Popovich, old man Pop, said, yeah, I'll stick around for this. Yeah, I don't know how old I am, like 75 or 80. I don't care. Yeah. I'm going to help this kid develop. Right? And so that's how special he is. That's how special of a player this guy is. That old man Pop said, I ain't going anywhere. Not yet anyways. I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's interesting pieces there, but to get him to re-up, obviously he saw what most of us saw and decided that he wanted to mentor this guy and bring him into this league, and it's going to be fun to watch. I plan to watch a lot of Spurs games, and I haven't watched many in the last few years. They haven't been fun to watch, but I look forward to watching Victor and this team around him. Okay, let's go to the East. Milwaukee. We mentioned Denver and that amazing pick and roll that probably leads them to very big success. I can't wait to see the pick and roll now with Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and these two teams, I think it would be very smart for someone listening right now to go to Vegas, make a bet on having Milwaukee and Denver in that final against each other, employing the similar tactics. And this is going to be so fun. They've lost pieces on the defensive side, but offensively, they might be able to outscore all their problems.
Yeah, exactly. You can argue, besides Murray and Jokic, that Lillard and Giannis might be the deadliest pick and roll combo ever. Yeah. I think Giannis has already been on record saying, "I've never felt this open ever." Now that Lillard is on the team, so that in itself speaks everything. Speaks everything. Yeah. Middleton, hopefully, he can actually stay healthy and be the contributor that we've seen him be.
Yeah,
he needs to be healthy. I love the bench with Bobby Portis, Jay Crowder. They added Cameron Payne. They added the other Lopez brother to help with the front court defense. I think the Milwaukee Bucks are as strong as they've ever been. I think they're going to do great this year.
Yeah,
top three.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. They lost 4-1 to Miami in that first round, and I thought, oh, they're going to blow everything up. They fired Coach Budenholzer, brought in Adrian Griffin, longtime Raptors assistant. We'll see what kind of difference he implements. I think he'll be more of an up-tempo guy compared to Budenholzer, who was more defensive. They lose a lot with Drew Holiday gone, and we'll see. Brook Lopez is a great defensive. It's good to have his brother there. I'm sure that'll make him happy. They have 9 players on this roster, though, that are making between 1.1 million and 2.6 million. So 6 guys making all the money, 9 guys not. If they do have to go deep into that bench, as the season wears on, they could have some struggles and troubles. Health is very, very, very key and crucial. A team that's super top heavy and, got the great 6 guys, but once you get past 6, you're getting, into guys that are just barely hanging on in the league. And I don't know how much they're going to be able to contribute.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I still believe in Giannis, and I most certainly believe in Dame.
Yeah.
That's why I think they're still top 3 in the East.
Okay, Boston, number 2. They also were dumped out of the conference finals, lost to Miami, and decided to make some changes. This team really made some very smart moves. I think Kristaps Porzingis, bringing him in, I think is a very, very good move if he stays healthy. Drew Holiday, one of the best D-man in this position, and a much better shooter than Marcus Smart. So I think that was an upgrade there. I think they upgraded at those 2 positions with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Derek White. These 5 guys, look out. I think this team wins 60 games and, really is going to battle Milwaukee for the top of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, especially with Drew Holiday being the point of attack for defense. Drew Holiday and Derek White might be the best defensive backcourt tandem in the league, period. And I think they're going to give other teams fits, the 2 of them. Porzingis just gives them a different sort of versatility on offense that they've never had before. I think Boston is set to make a run.
Yeah,
they're really set. This team, I love the construction of it. I think, and also too, we're going to see if Joe Mazzulla can you coach.
Can you coach?
This is it now.
Yeah.
This is your team has never been better.
Do it. Yeah, you better do it, or you're going to find a new job. Because this team is poised for a greatness, and he better prove himself. I like the pickup of O'Shea Brissett. He was developed in the Toronto Raptors system. Great swing forward from Indy. I know his brother, who his older brother plays for the Toronto Argonauts. Had a chance to chat with him a few times. And this is a very athletic family and a guy that's emerging on the scene, has played with Canada's national team, so got to know him quite well, and I think he was a big pickup as well for Boston. So good on them. Philly 76ers, third place in the East. I don't know what the hell happens with them because they've got that unknown factor with James Harden. This is going to be a big disruption, and if he doesn't play and they can't get anything for him, I think this team takes a step back. I love Tyrese Maxey. I love some of the other players, Paul Reed, Kelly Oubre, D'Anthony Melton. But Jesus, like, the unknown with Harden really makes this unknown what's going to happen with them.
And it sucks too, because you got a new coach in Nick Nurse, and Nick Nurse is one of the best coaches in the league.
Yeah.
And it's too bad for Harden that he's not even going to give him a chance.
Yeah.
He's just not going to do that. So, and the person that really loses out in all of this is Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Because all he's done is like, I just show up and play, and unfortunately my teammates don't want to play with me.
Yeah.
Like,
you had to go through Ben Simmons and now James Harden, like brutal,
yeah,
right? Just brutal.
Absolutely brutal. So, and depending on how Daryl Morey decides to deal with this Harden thing, if he deals with it well, then Embiid will come back. But if he deals with it poorly, Embiid may not sign again with the 76ers, and he's out.
Gone.
That would be really bad for Daryl, because that would mean he's out of a job. Yeah. I think he's fired immediately if he loses. So.
Yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. I'm not confident that it gets shaked out right away, but we'll see how it emerges. Cleveland ended up finishing fourth last year in the West, I think surprising a ton of people. This was their first 50-win season without LeBron since 92-93. Great backcourt with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Great front court with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Big ads with Max Strus and George Niang. Jared Allen is out to start the season, so hopefully he gets back healthy soon. We'll see. There was some big distraction in the offseason as Kobe Altman, their president, was arrested for DWI in September, and might be some jail time there, so don't know if he keeps his job or not. But he has really assembled a pretty decent team that seems to have a lot of good pieces in all the right spots.
Yeah. He has, before the DWI, you see it was a great team. I like the rookies that they've added to with Imani Bates and Amor Thompson. The other twin. Yeah, the other twin of Amon. Yeah. Hopefully they can add something to the mix as well. But I love the backcourt. Donovan Mitchell, Garland, solid.
Yeah.
Solid backcourt. I know that they're small, somewhat undersized, but I think those two are still good enough that they can make some noise in the playoffs.
This team for most of the season last year was a top-ranked defense, so that will help you in most every night. And I like this team, how they're assembled. We'll see how they go. Ricky Rubio is an unknown. He stepped away from basketball in August, citing mental health issues. We'll see. He's a key veteran that can add a lot to the team. Hopefully he comes back from that very soon. New York Knicks, another team that surprised a lot of people last year. They ended up fifth in the West and ended up losing to the Heat, but starting to assemble a team that's fun to watch. Obviously, their biggest key addition really came in and just made this team fun. Was able to finally leave Dallas and become the man. Jalen Brunson was great. Julius Randle, even though he had a tough go in the playoffs, he was injured. I think he's key. The Canadian RJ Barrett, another big piece. They've got assembled a few other good pieces around them, and this is a team that, will finally, make New York relevant again. Yeah.
Jalen Brunson has been an absolute revelation. Yeah. Revelation. He has been awesome. He's made the Knicks fans forget about the fact that they missed out on Donovan Mitchell. That's actually how good he's been. Yeah. So he's been awesome. He will continue being awesome. Hopefully, Randall can find his game. I think he's now completely healed up from his injury from last year. So hopefully he can take a step. And Josh Hart, perfect glue guy for this team. Perfect addition for this team. I believe they've signed him. They've locked him up for the next couple of years. The Knicks are good. Then they should make some noise.
Josh Hart was such a key acquisition. He made such a difference once they brought him over. I like Mitchell Robinson. Dante DiVincenzo was a good add. Emmanuel Quickly can be really good. And yeah, lots of key good pieces there. Okay, sixth in the East ended up being the Brooklyn Nets. Not sure what we're going to get with this team. Decimated, complete rebuild. Mikal Bridges was able to emerge as the leader there, top talent. I don't know what we see with Ben Simmons. His shooting is just so brutal. It's shocking. He went 16 games last year without even making one free throw. That is outrageous for a guy that puts that many minutes on the court. He doesn't seem to love basketball, and if you don't love the game, how is your teammates going to love you? I like Claxton. I like Dorian Finney-Smith, Lonnie Walker. Some pieces on this team are fun, but this team I think is going to take quite a step back. I think they're going to finish 10th to 12th, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, absolutely, because they had an inflated record because of KD and Kyrie at the beginning of the season. And then when they lost them, then they started to crater. I expect them to be at the bottom of the East, but I expect Cam Johnson to actually take a sincere leap forward.
Nice.
I think he's going to be very, very good for them. Spencer Dinwiddie's still there, running that offense as well. Yeah. But I'm looking at Cam Johnson and Simmons. If he can find his mojo, he's going to be great for the team. But if he doesn't, you know what? His days are numbered in the league.
Yeah. Atlanta Hawks, they finished 7th. They lost out to Boston first round. Built around Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. I think they really will miss John Collins a lot. Bogdan Bogdanovic is a lethal shooter when he's used properly. Jalen Johnson, quick and decent. Some of the other pieces are okay. I think this team is kind of probably going to finish close to where they sat last year. Not too much difference.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. Because they still haven't really figured out how to use DeJounte Murray and Trae Young together. Yeah. They've staggered their minutes. So I would like to think that there's a world where they can be on the court together and be effective. Hopefully DeAndre Hunter can take a leap forward, and they got a great veteran, Patty Mills, to hopefully help the young players develop.
Yeah. Miami Heat finished 8th. They lost their first game in the play-ins to Atlanta. They had to beat the Bulls in the play-in in the second game just to make the playoffs. And then they rode Jimmy freaking Butler all the way to the final. This team is shocking. They had such a tough regular season. They reminded me of how Golden State had such a tough regular season. They lost some key pieces with Gabe Vincent and Max Strus out. Tyler Hero was back. He was a big missing piece when he broke his hand, but they're long in the tooth with Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love, a few young guys coming in, but I don't know. I don't know what we see this team do. I mean, it's hard to count out a team with Jimmy Butler, but I don't think he's got enough around him right now to be one of those top teams in the East.
Yeah, I said that last year, and then he did that anyway. So you can't count this team out. Yeah. They're incredibly well coached. I love the rookie Jaquez. Like I love that guy. I love his game. I think he's going to be a real contributor for this team. I think Hero has something to prove since he was involved in trade talks. the entire summer.
Right.
So I think he's going to come out with some venom and some fire for this particular season. And then Butler will do what Butler does: be awesome.
Yeah.
When he needs to be.
Yeah, probably right.
Yeah.
Okay, Toronto Raptors. A lot of people that watch our podcast are Raptors fans. The loss of Fred VanVleet is going to be tough. Dennis Schroeder, I like his game, and I think he's going to come in, lead in up-tempo style. Nick Nurse gone, first time in a long time. They've got Darko Rajakovic coming in. We'll see what type of style they employ. They've got, a lot of the same pieces there with Siakam, Scotty Barnes, OG Anunoby, Jakob Pertl, and Gary Trent Jr. coming off the bench, Precious Achua, Boucher, the juniors, Ron Harper and Otto Porter Jr. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of this team. I think they probably can get into the playoff mix, but they need another piece or two.
Yeah, if they do get in the playoffs and be through the play-in, that's what I would say. I think they're a scrappy team. You've already mentioned the juniors, Trent Jr. and Harper Jr. I think they'll add something. But the guy that I'm really looking forward to his game is that rookie Grady Dick.
Grady.
I think he's going to be great outside shooter for them. Hopefully he's going to give them consistent shooting from the outside.
Yeah, I think he was a nice pickup. I like his game, and I think that will be great. He'll be a great shooter. I liked them bringing in Jalen McDaniels on a free agent deal. I couldn't believe though that they couldn't make a KD deal and they couldn't make a Lillard deal because they wanted Scotty Barnes not included in those deals. You can't value Scotty Barnes over either one of those guys, and I think those were big misses. I think they could have swung for the fences like they did with Kawhi and brought in such a valuable piece. Would have loved either of those guys over Scotty Barnes in a New York minute.
That's what we think, right? But we don't know what the future will hold for Scotty Barnes.
Okay.
Maybe this was the smartest move for them not to move him. But time will tell.
Yeah.
Time will.
Chicago Bulls, 10th place. They ended up getting knocked out in that play-in game. This team is strange. They seem to have a lot of good pieces, but really just can't put it together. They obviously really miss Lonzo Ball a ton. He'll be sorely missed, obviously. I like DeMar DeRozan. I like Zach LaVine, and I like Nikola Vucevic. They've got Caruso, Kobe White, other pieces, but just don't seem to know how to put it together. Yeah,
it's a weird roster construction. They also have Andre Drummond, who's a fantastic top of the league rebounder. But that's kind of about all he can do is the rebounding. So I expect, unfortunately, the Bulls to finish at the bottom of the East again. They just didn't do enough to change their future and their destiny for this upcoming season, unfortunately. And it really sucks that Lonzo Ball is still injured, because if he was playing along with Alex Caruso, they would be one of the best tandems for point guard defenses. That they'd be one of the best tandems for that.
Yeah. I think Indiana at 11th. I think this team really battles for a playoff spot. I really like Tyrese Halliburton. Love his game. Miles Turner is a great defender. They've got some Canadians in the mix that are great. They just signed Andrew Naismith to a 3-year, $33 million deal today. Bruce Brown was a great ad. Obi Toppin was a good ad from the Knicks. I like Canadian Benedict Mathurin and Andrew Nembhard. This team, I think, really has a potential to jump up the East quite a few notches.
Yeah, definitely. I love Ben Mathurin, and I think he takes another step forward in his development. I think he's going to add something great to the Indiana Pacers for this year. Tyrese Halliburton, let's just say it right now, I think he's one of the best point guards in the league.
Yeah.
Period. one of the best decision makers in the league. He kind of reminds me at times, different kind of game, at times with the decision making like Chris Paul.
Nice.
Young Chris Paul.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go to Vegas and I'm going to put money on Kyle Kuzma being the guy that punches out Jordan Poole this year. Those guys are going to battle for the rock, and Jordan Poole's pretty selfish. I think Kuzma will get very frustrated that he won't pass him the ball, and he'll give him a shot.
Yeah, that could happen. That could happen. But you know what? Maybe it was the Golden State that was holding Poole back, because I'm going to say this right now. He's going to have a green light to fire away. So I expect his stats to be the best that they've ever been. But Washington Wizards have a horrible roster. They will finish at the bottom of the East. They are not very good. But the rookie Koulibaly, apparently a lot of people have been very impressed with him. I think he could make some noise. And at least they have a very steady point guard in Tyus Jones. Yeah. He's very good.
Yeah, he's the old school kind of point guard that you like. They've got some interesting pieces. I like Gallinari. I like Bertans. Taj Gibson brings a lot of good. DeLon Wright. Yeah, I mean, okay, but yeah, this team's roster isn't too great. I saw in the preseason, Poole had 40 points one game. Next game, he was 1 for 17 from the floor. So we're going to see some big swings there. It'll be crazy. Magic 13th. Don't see a huge jump up. I really like Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner with this team. I think this team is a couple years away from contending, but yeah, bringing together some young guys that have some big upside.
Yeah, man. And I think Jalen Suggs is going to be better this year. I hope that Jonathan Isaacs can actually finally be healthy for a year so you can see exactly how good this kid is. And I believe drafting Anthony Black, great compliment to Paulo Banchero. I think the Magic are on the right trajectory to being good. They still need a couple years, but they're going in the right direction.
Your Charlotte Hornets, 27-55 last year, 31 games out of first. They were quite a bit ahead of Detroit, but still, wow. This team is in disarray. Miles Bridges looking like a big suspension coming his way for his off the court troubles. Kia James has just asked for a trade and will be out of there. James Bouknight might have to have knee surgery there. They've got some young guns in Brandon Miller. LaMelo Ball, I love his game. But yeah, there's too many question marks with this team, and it's going to be a few years away.
Yeah, a few years away for sure. Hopefully Brandon Miller can be an immediate contributor. LaMelo Ball, great passer. Hopefully he can actually stay healthy for the season. They still have Terry Rozier, who's pretty much is going to have to lead this team. And at some point in time, Miles Bridges will come back, but will he be the same player? Question mark.
Yeah. Detroit, so brutal last year. The worst team in basketball by far, but they didn't get Wembanyama. That was really a big kick in the old nards there. 17-65, 41 games out of first place, and 10 games out of second last. So brutal. James Wiseman there, big bust in Golden State. I looked at his numbers after he left and went there. 16 assists, 37 turnovers. Not good statistics that you want to show off. He could be one of the biggest busts of all time if he doesn't emerge there. We'll see. We'll see what this team has, but there's nothing here that we need to get really into. Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham are the two guys that are going to have to be built around, I guess.
Yeah, Jaden Ivey's super electric player. He's super talented, and Cade Cunningham missed a large majority of last season because of injury. So this is his season to shine, and hopefully he does that. they do have competent shooting with Bogdanovich and Harris, I'm done.
Yeah. That was that was pretty amazing. Great to break it all down like that. This has been a long podcast, so we will call it a night. But thanks for all your expertise and your fun insight as always, man. And hope you get a great sleep. Have a good week ahead. I hope the rain holds off and you can keep fairly dry.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. They're always crossed, actually.
Yeah. Okay,
Hey,
thanks, man. We'll talk
great.
to you soon. Love you. Take care.
You too. All right.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. All right. Thanks. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. I know this is a super long podcast. If you stayed this long, you're amazing. Thanks for all the love and support, and appreciate it as always. Thank you to our partners and sponsors. You know who you are. Everyone knows who they are. And we will talk to you soon. Take care of yourself. Love you lots. And bye for now.